Let's start the meeting then. I'd like to call this Northfield Township Board of Trustees meeting of September 8th, 2020 to order. Ms. Otto has agreed to do the invocation tonight, and then we'll do the pledge. Go ahead, Ms. Otto.
Okay, let us pray silently together as each of us, according to our individual beliefs, offer thanks for our blessings for one another, for our community. We pray for guidance in the matters at hand, and God would clearly show us how to conduct our work with the spirit of joy and enthusiasm. We give gratitude to for the opportunity to serve our community. Today, I ask grace and mercies for Angie Westover, her family and friends, as they struggle the loss and grief of John Westover. May they recognize joy in memories, hope in your love, and peace during this time. God, may you walk beside them and fill them with your comfort and presence. Amen.
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 Okay, please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Please call the roll, Clerk Manley.
Beliger.
Here.
Check.
Here.
Dockett.
Here.
Otto.
Present.
Zelenock.
Present.
Manley here. Chalkley.
Here.
Everyone here.
Thank you. Okay, now we have an opportunity for call to the public, and any member of the public may address the board at this time. So please indicate by holding up your hand, and I'll call on you and unmute your phone so that you can speak at this time. 3 minutes, please, and feel free to address us on anything, although this is not a Q&A time, so we won't be entertaining dialogue at this time. So do we have anyone who would like to address us? I'm looking at the list of participants. Okay, Marissa Prizgint, and I will allow you to talk. Go ahead, Marissa.
Thank you. It's Marissa Prizgint, 32 Shrum Drive. Just 3 quick things today. I want to thank the board for adding the land preservation request for a social media site to the agenda. I hope with the detailed communication plan that's provided, that's an easy, quick hit for you all. I'm also hoping for an update on Livonia Builders and the North Village property. I don't see that on the agenda. Currently, I know there are private citizens circulating an unofficial online petition to keep all 20 acres as a park. And although for those of us that have been paying attention know that the land is already under contract with Livonia Builders, there isn't any recent official publications from the township stating so. There's a rampant amount of misinformation out there, and without concise status updates from the township, it's kind of difficult to combat. I'm requesting that the most recent updates that Mr. Aynes provides in his regular manager's reports be added to the North Village portion of the website. I was surfing on there today, and the most recent updates I can see are from 2018. I also noticed that there's a North Village newsletter mailing list, and I tried to sign up for it, but to my surprise, I'm already enrolled, which is strange because I don't think I've ever actually received a status update on that. So it seems as though we have some technology already set up and ready to use to kind of educate and inform the public on these issues, but we're not really using them. So it just seems like maybe we could use the resources that we already have a little bit more efficiently to make sure that the public is getting the information that they need. Last week, in regards to offering township-owned land to the Horseshoe Lake Corporation for purchase, prior to accepting any offers from the public, Mr. Dockett asked for this issue to be placed back on the agenda for further discussion, but I don't see it on tonight's agenda, so I'm just curious if his request will be granted. And if anyone has actually contacted the Horseshoe Lake Corporation to give them the deadline that you all discussed for pursuing a nonprofit organization to legally acquire that land. I know that there are people from the public who want to purchase it, and I'm just wanting to make sure that that ball just doesn't get dropped altogether. So that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, do we have anyone else who would like to speak at this time? Please raise your hand if you do, if you'd like to speak at this time. Okay, seeing no one, we're going to move on to the meeting then. Thank you. Okay. Board member response to call to the public. Do we have anyone who would like to speak about any item, any board member response to Ms. Prizgint? Go ahead, Ms. Chick.
To the comment about there are probably people in the Horseshoe Lake Association that are interested in buying their property. I know we've gotten a couple of emails from a resident there in Horseshoe Lake, and I want us to be able to consider those requests as well without moving on, anything that someone else could acquire. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Prizgint, I don't know how to move you back over into the attendee list. Working on it. I guess it's not going to make it.
Madam Chair, I just have some comments.
Yes, Ms. Zelenock.
So I just want to remind people that their taxes are due on September 14th, this Monday. And if you haven't mailed them, we do have a 24/7 drop box. I highly recommend people use the drop box. As far as the update on North Village, I agree. I think we need to have a update. There is a lot of confusion in that regards. Are we under contract? I know Ms. Chick and I are working on like a communication plan, because before COVID, we were going to have a town hall meeting on April 7th, and obviously that got canceled. So now we have to kind of see what we can do going forward. So I think we need to do that. And I agree, we need to use the resources we have to keep people updated on critical issues. As far as the Horseshoe Lake, I did reach out to them. Their goal is to have the nonprofit established by the end of the year. And I think that does it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else like to respond? Mr. Dockett, did you have anything you'd like to say about the public?
Yeah, I pushed *6 twice. I don't know if it's showing up or not.
The *6 just means that you are unmuted.
I want to know if I'm part of this meeting. I want to know if it shows up when I push. I just pushed *6 twice.
Okay.
Did you know it or did you not know it?
I did not know it. Well,
then I'm having the same problem I've been having. So we haven't fixed anything.
Star.
So my comments are.
Go ahead.
I don't know why we can't have the regular meetings. There's only 7 of us there. We got the rest of the people can be on virtual meetings, but I believe that we should be there. As far as the Horseshoe Lake Association, I believe that then people should be able to buy the lots if they want. I don't see any advantage of waiting around till the end of the year. For what reason? I don't know why. Well, I mean, why are we worried about what the Horseshoe Lake Association is going to do? It's a private company. So that's my comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
I can just comment that it's *9, I believe, for him to raise a hand, not *6.
I thought you said *6.
That's to unmute yourself, Mr. Dockett, and you are currently unmuted, so you can interject anytime you wanted to. Not like I'm encouraging that when someone else is talking, but you can do that.
Well, I haven't been able to do that, but I'll take your word. You must have had me shut off or something, but
No.
I never have been able to do that.
Well, you can do that today. Miss Otto, you have a comment.
Yes, I would like to offer Mr. Dockett 1 or 2 things if we do decide to be on site and do the meetings. Could do that and do the audience as Zoom meetings. But I would also offer Mr. Dockett, if you want, I could do these meetings on site with you and bring a second laptop with me. So you have access to your laptop and I would be there to assist.
I will say that there's only 5 more meetings, 4 more for me. So
Yeah,
I'm not
that's why I'm
interested.
offering.
Yeah, you offered it, but I'm not interested.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to, oh, Ms. Zelenock.
I mean, is it possible that we could meet for the last 3 meetings at the board meeting room?
Right.
Just us.
Yep, just us. And then, obviously maybe our attorney and Mr. Aynes.
Yes.
And then we would have everything else, public comments and stuff by Zoom.
But we'd be 6 feet apart with masks on
Correct.
Right.
for the whole meeting.
Yeah.
So we can talk about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, other townships are doing it, and so are Board of Review, so are
Okay.
the other meeting places. They're all doing it. So
I mean, I think Mr. Dockett's going to attend 3 more meetings, September, October.
Yes.
One more in September and then 2 in October, correct?
Mm-hmm.
and 1 in November possibly.
Possibly the one in November. Okay, because I had recalled maybe that you weren't going to attend any meetings in November. Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to adopt the consent agenda as distributed.
Support.
Motion by Chalkley, support by Beliger. Do we have any reports that need to be pulled out for discussion?
Yes.
Dockett, go ahead. Which ones, Mr. Dockett?
I'd like to pull the police report out.
Any others?
Yes, the paid bills.
Okay. Does anyone else have any reports that they would like pulled? Okay, what are your questions from the police?
Arlene, I had my hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Otto, I couldn't see you.
The Township Manager's Report. I just had some questions on it.
Okay. Then we'll go in order. Any other ones? Okay, we'll go in order. Miss Otto, what are your questions about Mr. Aynes' report?
So this had to do with the wastewater treatment plant, stormwater retention. He talked about the bids that we were getting. And they would be at the October 13th board meeting. But don't we have cards that we have to have out between September 15th, I think?
Right.
And October 3rd or 4th?
Go ahead, Mr. Aynes, would you like to address that?
So my question is, part of that postcard, we have to put the amount of what we're taking out in loans. And if we don't know what the bids are or the amounts, how are we going to do this?
Mr. Aynes? You need to unmute Mr. Aynes. Let me see if I can find you in the other list.
Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry it didn't show up to unmute. In talking to Mr. Mans, he said we could use the same number that was in the advertisement in the paper, that it would be for a not to exceed amount of that same number. And therefore we could do it, go ahead and bid. Hopefully the numbers come in less, but that would be a acceptable way of doing it on the postcards. We have checked into the postcards. Jennifer talked to the printer, and it only is a 5-day lead time for him to print them up once he's given the information. We also have to publish a notice in the paper too on this.
Did that answer your question, Ms. Otto?
Yes, it did.
Okay,
And
thank
then the other thing was on 75 Barker. Did Mr. Munger share the results from the testing?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Could that be distributed to the board?
Yes, I'll look for it tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question on number 1.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Beliger.
I'd like to ask a manager regarding Nollar Road improvement. Have they been completed yet, or do we know? As well as the 6-mile stretch between Autumn Lane and Earhart. Do we have any information as to if they've been improved and when they will be, if they haven't been?
Well, it looked to me like they had been improved, but I don't know if they're complete. So I'll have to check with the road commission.
Okay, because I drove Nollar and I did not believe that to be a true improvement. And certainly when it came up to 7 Mile, it was all those potholes are still there. And the stretch between Autumn Lane and Earhart Road did not look improved to me. They ditched it some time back, and that's nice, but it needs we need stone put down. And I just was
Okay.
curious. I want to make sure that we get what we paid for. That's all.
So I will comment on Nollar, that Nollar was closed down for about a week. This was over the week of August 10th, I think. And they were doing a lot of road work at that time. Yeah, the week of August 10th. They were doing a lot of road work at that time, and it's open as of that week. So it is completed.
Did they do the work between 6 and 7? Or was it south
Yes.
of North Territorial?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't feel that they did adequate at the 7 Mile, where it meets 7 Mile at this point.
Oh, probably not. They
Okay.
missed that area.
Yeah, we need to make sure that we get the road work taken care of properly. I noticed I hate to say it, but Salem seems to be getting quality road work. And I think they use the county, same county we do.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, is that all for Mr. Aynes' report? Okay, Ms. Chick?
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm with Ms. Beliger that this, because we particularly commented at the 7 Mile and Nollar corner that it was very bad, and it's still not much better than it was. So they put down limestone and they did some grading, but it doesn't look like they actually did anything to improve it. So, okay, and I would like to, if I may, because we had a very late planning commission meeting before the material for the packet was due, if I could just make a comment about the planning commission meeting.
You don't want to do this when the liaison reports comes out?
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else for Mr. Aynes? Okay. The next one is.
Dockett's in there.
Okay, Mr.
I said I pulled 2 of them.
Yes.
Do you mind if I have my turn here?
Oh, did you want to talk about Mr. Aynes' report?
Not on his report.
No, we're moving on to was it police or fire?
Police.
Police. Okay, you had a question on the police report, which we have just pulled. Go ahead, Mr. Dockett.
Okay, I have a comment on the police report.
Go ahead.
There's no pages on it, but the 3rd page from the end, from the back of it, says Northfield Township Officer Information. Mr. Wagner, is he on?
Yep, I'm here.
Yes,
I used to, I don't know what this information. I don't know about the ID number and the call signs. I don't see what that gives us, but I was always much more interested in the years of service. But you did not. You stopped that and you start putting in the call signs. I just wonder if that was a reason for that as all.
No, I think they attached the wrong report to this report, so I'll go back and make sure. I'll go back and make sure they put the right page on there.
Well, I appreciate that, sir. And why I'm on this rather than go to the bills. There's something in the bills there on page 10 of 16, and it says Schwartz and Piquet. Are these Glock pistols, or are these, or were these classes that they took for $500?
I believe that's a class, if it's Paquette, and probably Howe or
Schultz.
Yeah,
What's that?
it
Schultz,
says
yeah.
Schwartz and Piquet.
Yeah, those are classes. Those are both of our firearms instructors.
Oh, okay. Well, for $500, I thought maybe they were guns. I thought that was a lot for classes. And I would like to, the next page, overall summary of the overtime. I can't believe what I'm looking at here, but it sure looks good. How come, Chief? What's the deal? Is it because you were closed up, or that is a very fine looking graph that you got here, but it don't make sense.
Well, so yeah, the overtime is down, partially because we didn't have any 4th of July activities, and partially because people haven't really taken vacations like they have in the past, because you haven't been able to take vacations. So.
Okay, well, that's my comment on that. And now we'll go to the bills unless somebody has some other questions for.
Okay. Does anyone have another question for Mr. Wagner?
No.
Okay, go ahead. We'll move to the bills then.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Page 11 of 16, just a little below halfway down. Barker Road water heater. Oh, I forgot. I wanted to mention that I know it's probably not the time to do it, but my street light is out at my place. Can somebody take a note of the street light being out at the railroad track?
Okay.
Will somebody write that up?
Yep.
Make a note of it.
Yep, I took a note.
Okay, and the water heater, it says water heater, Barker Road, $98.88. If this is an electric hot water heater, why, unless it's on a circuit with something else, why in the world have we got the hot water heater on at Barker Road?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to have somebody check that out. I don't like paying $100 for the hot water heater. That's what it says here anyway. It says Barker Road hot water heater office. So I don't think we need to be paying $100 if there's nobody in there. But it could be on a circuit with other things. I don't know. But I think somebody should check it out.
Okay, it says "and office," so I'm sure Ms. Carlisle can check that out.
Okay.
And find
All
out
right.
why. Okay,
That's it for me. Thank
That's
you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else with bills? Any issues with bills? Okay. All right, so I made a motion to adopt the consent agenda as distributed with Ms. Beliger seconding it. If there's no more comments, we'll have a roll call, please.
Okay. Manley, yes. Beliger,
Yes.
Zelenock,
Yes.
Dockett,
Yes.
Otto,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes.
Chockley,
Yes.
7-0.
Okay, thank you very much. Then we had some correspondence. If no one has any comments on that, we'll move on to agenda items. I'd like to make a motion to adopt the remainder of the agenda as distributed.
I'll support.
Okay, motion by Chockley, support by Otto. And Ms.
Discussion?
Beliger has a comment. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
did we, I don't know, it looks like an awful lot is going on item number 9, the Personnel Committee recommendations.
Yes.
I would consider actually removing that from the agenda at this point.
Ms. Otto, did you have any comments on that? I mean, I have some concerns about several of the items there that we may need some clarification. However, I don't know that it's, we could pull the whole thing, or we could discuss what we can discuss and then move the other things to a future meeting. We have very few meetings left.
Right, and the problem being is if we have to push anything off for a future meeting, if you push the whole thing off for a future meeting, you may not have time to finish this.
Ms. Manley?
So,
I say just maybe
Sorry.
discuss parts of it, or just if
and
we
those
don't,
parts
if we're
that
not
we
in
can
agreement,
address,
just move on from it.
Yeah,
That was my thought.
Okay.
Okay. So there is a motion by Chalkley with support by Otto to adopt the remainder of the agenda as distributed. If there's no more comments, roll
Does
call.
Dockett have his hand raised or anything?
Mr. Dockett, did you want to say anything?
No.
Okay. Roll call then, please, Ms. Manley.
Dockett,
No. Yes.
Otto,
Thank you.
yes,
Chick,
Yes.
Zelenock,
Yes.
Beliger,
Yes.
Manley, yes. Chick,
I voted already.
okay. Chalkley,
Yes.
okay. 7-0.
Okay, thank you. All right, the first item is the minutes of the special meeting. I'll make a motion to adopt the minutes of the special meeting of August 25th, 2020 of the Northfield Township Board.
I'll support.
Okay, motion by Chalkley, and
Can
I
I
didn't
make a
catch the
comment?
voice.
It
Yes.
doesn't matter.
Okay, we'll say Miss Chick. I thought I heard Miss Chick. Okay,
There was a comment, Mr. Ains would like to say
Yes.
something.
go ahead, Mr. Aynes.
Okay, it's rare for me to comment on minutes, but I'm on the regular meeting minutes and I'm not on the special meeting minutes, but I was at both meetings.
Nice catch. Okay.
Thank you.
We can correct that. Any other comments or corrections to the special meeting minutes? Okay, I will revise my motion to adopt the amended minutes of the special meeting of August 25th, 2020. Do I still have a second by Ms. Chick?
Or
Okay. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Chalkley,
Yes.
Chick,
yes.
Otto,
yes,
Dockett,
Yes.
Zelenock,
Yes.
Beliger,
Yes.
Manley, yes.
Thank you. 7-0, correct?
Yep.
Okay. I'll let Ms. Chick make this motion since she has a correction, I know, to these minutes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adopt the Township Board minutes from August 25th, 2020.
Okay, and I'll second that.
Okay, I do have a correction or an addition. Well, actually, I have a couple of corrections.
Okay,
So I did send this to Ms. Limbell already. On page 2, it is the 1, 2, between the third and fourth paragraph down. I wanted her to add the Chick questioned whether the September 20th extension date was enough time to get a response on the grant. The reason I'm adding that is that's what prompted the discussion on extending the motion for, or the deadline.
okay. And where does this fit on the right column, Ms. Chick?
Right-hand column between the third and fourth paragraph.
Okay, paragraphs, but not with the little arrow.
No arrow.
Okay, so right before Dockett said he and others,
Mhm.
that's where it goes? Okay,
And then I had a couple more.
okay, go ahead.
On the very last page, page 4. Announcements, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th announcement. The first one is Parks and Rec would like to approval of a slightly altered location of a shed on North Village site. Was that, I don't remember, was it North Village? Was it North Village or was it Community Garden?
Community garden.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then on the third bullet point under announcements, I actually spoke with Mr. Iaquinto over the weekend, and he said that it was not a resolution that the Parks and Rec passed. It was a motion requesting.
Okay.
I mean, like a suggestion?
It was, yeah, it was a motion, but it was a request to consider, what was it, 12.4 acres of North Village, excluding, Ms. Beliger, was it excluding the lakefront?
The actual language is the Parks and Recreation Board requests the Northfield Township Board of Trustees to keep, comma, not inclusive of the lakefront, comma, at least 12 acres of the total of the North Village site to remain a park for the benefit of the residents of Northfield Township.
Okay, thank you.
We called it a resolution at the meeting, so that's probably why it got that name.
Yeah, it's two different things, yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
So how do you want that to read? It should be passed a motion asking the township board?
Yeah. Mr. Iaquinto said it was a motion.
Okay. Okay, so would you like to amend your motion to adopt the
With-
amended minutes?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll continue to second that. Any other corrections, though? Okay, Ms. Otto.
So on the call to the public, they have Melissa Prizgint, and it's Marissa,
Marissa, yeah.
and it's 32 Shrum with one M. And then over on page 2, under 3, the letter of understanding for the Michigan Association of Firefighters, it said Shockley moved and all others second. It was Otto. It was me who second.
It was.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, can you even have all others as a second, or should it just have to be a person?
I don't know. Maybe maybe if you're listening to the
It's some-
audio, all others sound like Otto.
Oh,
And see, I just checked the records and I put my motions down on every page of my notes, so.
Yes. Okay, I would accept that Otto
By
second.
everybody, that may be the case.
yep.
Okay, is everyone okay with those amendments?
Mr. Dockett have anything? Yep.
Yeah, oh, Ms. Zelenock has something. I'll ask Mr. Dockett in just a sec. Ms. Zelenock?
So if we go back to page 4, I mean, and we go to item number 3, that was what was said at the meeting, was that a resolution was passed.
How do we correct?
Pardon me?
How do we correct it so that it is what it is, or do we just?
I know, I'm not sure, but that is what was said at the meeting.
Yes, that's true.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure. I mean, you maybe put a note that it was actually a motion that was done at the Parks and Rec. I'm not sure. But that was what was said. So I'm not sure how it gets corrected.
I don't know either. I guess we should leave it as resolution
Yeah,
since
I'll
that's,
accept resolution then because that's what was said.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so anything, Mr. Dockett, do you have anything?
No,
No? Okay,
thank you. No, thank you.
okay, thank you.
So I have one more question.
Go ahead, Ms. Otto.
Is the Park and Recs meeting in person still?
No, they've been virtual. They've been virtual.
Okay.
Yeah, we were gonna have a subcommittee meeting that was gonna be in person, and then the weather didn't permit, so, we're gonna meet at the park, but it was raining, so we had a virtual meeting then.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we are voting on the amended minutes with the motion by Chick and support by Chalkley. Ms. Manley, go ahead with the roll call.
Manley, yes. Chockley,
Yes.
Beliger,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes.
Otto,
Yes.
Dockett,
Yes.
Zelenock,
Yes.
7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to to approve the open bills with the expected check run date of 9/9/2020 for a total of $72,273.93 from all funds in the Municipal Investment Fund account.
Support.
Okay, motion by Chalkley and support by
Chick.
Chick. Okay. Do we have any discussion on this?
Question, yes.
Ms. Beliger?
On the first page, the hotspot installation, the charges, is that for the labor of installing these hotspots? Can anybody have a little bit of information on that?
I have information. Yeah, the $1,536.10 will be reimbursed, but that was labor and and equipment. So it was the whole thing. And we will be reimbursed for that. The $454.11 for the hotspot at the fire station number 2, the board approved at the last meeting, and that was inclusive of labor.
And so
And-
we will not be, that will be a township cost then for the second one?
Yes, but maybe the county will reimburse us for that too. But, I'm not going to count on it because they said they would only reimburse about $1,500 for equipment and labor. So we are expecting to get all of that. I wanted to wait to boost the megabytes that the township contracts with Charter for until we know if we're going to be running over. And our IT tech says he doesn't believe so, so we would not have to increase the service level at the PSB. So,
I recall us talking last time, being concerned with how much additional we may need for monthly payments, and we were assured at the last meeting
Right.
that there was no price increase for the monthly service.
that's correct. If we would want to increase that, we would be reimbursed up to $600 a year. And it's only $23 for a boost, so per month. So, but my expectation is that we won't need. Any other questions on the bills? Mr. Dockett has muted himself, but Ms. Zelenock, you have a
So,
question?
yeah, I was just curious on the run date.
The run date is usually the day after our meeting, the check run date.
But it says the run date is 9/9 through 9/9.
Yes,
Right.
that's interesting.
Well, I mean, so usually don't we have like, I guess, don't we have more than that?
Like
But
a
if
wish
you-
list.
No, that's the check run date. If you look at the paid bills, there's a range
Right.
from the last meeting until,
Okay, I didn't, because, I mean, I'm looking at July's, and July's was, I have to look, was 6/10 through 7/8. So it just seems,
were those the open bills?
yes.
Okay.
Anyway, I just noticed that I would have asked earlier, but I just noticed that
Okay.
and part of it was I was prompted that we didn't have any planner fees or Mr. Fink's fees in the bill. So
In the open bills, huh? Okay. I don't know.
okay. Anyway, it
Question
was
for
just a
the
comment. I just noticed that, so I wasn't sure if anybody else knew that. And one other item is if you go to page 3 of 4 down at the end, maybe that's not it. Yeah, it's page 3 or 4 at the end. We are working with Huntington to set up an ACH to do the bond payment. So we will, I don't know if I need any approval to do that. As opposed, we have two options. We are afraid to send it through mail in case they didn't get it because we've had that experience in March. And then the other one is we can wire it. So I just wanted to, if I make a motion that we will be doing an ACH for the Huntington bond payment.
are you
I would
adding?
support that.
Yes, I'm asking because I just want to make sure that people know that we're going to be doing an ACH on that.
Okay, and it'll happen tomorrow.
Not necessarily tomorrow. It has to happen by October 1st. So we have to set up the ACH.
Okay, but this $10,446.89 is not the ACH.
No, it's
No.
the bond payment that we have to pay to Huntington.
Okay,
So I just want to let people know, make a motion that we will be paying this payment through ACH.
okay, let's adopt the open bills first and then make your
Okay.
motion, okay?
That's fine.
Okay, that sounds good. Mr. Dockett, did you have anything in the open bills that you wanted to bring up? Mr. Dockett? Star six, Mr. Dockett.
Star 9. Oh, nope, star 6.
Star six.
I'm confused.
Mr. Dockett? Maybe he had to go somewhere for a moment.
So,
Okay, we could, I don't know, how's he gonna vote if he's not unmuted? Mr. Dockett?
do you see him?
No, he's there, but he's muted his phone, so I've asked him to unmute electronically, and he should be able to hear us. Mr.
Can you
Dockett,
unmute him?
I cannot.
Okay.
He would have to do it himself.
Okay.
Mr. Dockett, could you unmute your phone, please?
Star 6, correct?
Star six. Panelists, he does not have his hand up.
So let's just vote.
Yes, we better move on, yes. Go ahead. Roll call, please.
Manley, yes. Beliger,
Yes.
Zelenock,
Yes.
Otto,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes.
Chockley,
Yes.
Dockett. So 6-0.
6-0, and he must have had.
Dockett stepped away.
They stepped away.
Okay. Thank you, that passes. All right. Third truck repair. Okay.
So go back out. I'm just going to make a motion that
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
our first choice of payment for the Huntington bond for $10,446.89 is through ACH.
I'll support.
Okay, so we have a motion by Ms. Zelenock and support by Ms. Manley.
Looks like Wayne may be back. I saw him
Oh,
light up.
there he is. He's back. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Mr. Dockett, are you aware of where we're at right now?
I can't, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Excuse me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Well, he couldn't hear me when I was trying to get in on the minutes deal. I mean, on the paid bills. I
Okay.
have a question. And I kept pushing star 9 or star 6, and nobody, you said you couldn't hear me. I
Well,
was just about ready to call Wagner because I was going to tell him that I wasn't involved in the meeting again.
okay, Mr. Dockett.
The only time I'm assured of getting in is when, for some reason, when you have the roll call vote, I can get in. So something's wrong. All right, I want to go up back to Tom's last question or about the hotspot at the fire hall number 2. I asked at that meeting, is there going to be any charge? And your answer was no, there will be no charge. But it didn't get in the minutes. But that is what you said, and I think there's other people on the board that heard you say that. So I just want to bring that up.
Okay.
That's what you said. So that's on.
What I
That's on the bills. And,
Mr. Dockett, what I understand.
and I would like to and I would like to have my name put on there that I passed the bills. I tried to pass the bills, but you couldn't hear me.
Okay.
It's fine.
But I was here, and I'm sitting here, and I vote yes on the paying the bills.
Okay, can we add him on? So it would be 7-0 for paying the bills?
I'm okay with that.
Okay,
So for clarification on that particular item, you say that we would not be charged, but we were getting reimbursed, we would get reimbursed.
yes.
What is the?
No, I said, is there any cost to it? And she said no.
No.
There isn't, because we're getting reimbursed.
We're getting reimbursed 1,500, but not necessarily the 450.
No, the board voted for an additional allocation to put in
Right.
at fire station number 2 because we felt that it was important to provide that second location for the people out in the eastern side of the township that don't have good internet.
Correct.
So that's where that came from.
Right.
Okay.
Now, it's possible that if we submit that, we may get reimbursed for that also, since we don't have to boost our level of service from charter, but it's not clear that we would yet. But I can always ask.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, now, are you okay, Mr. Dockett, with where we're at now?
Yeah, where are we?
Item number 4.
Ms. Zelenock just made a motion.
Oh, yeah.
Are we on 4?
No, we're adding a motion in after 3. Ms. Zelenock has made a motion to pay the bond payment through Huntington with an ACH. And we, and then Ms. Manley seconded that. And
Is that in our packet?
no, it's not.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I wouldn't know anything about that if it's not in the packet.
No, it's just that the bill, we have the bills in your packet, Mr. Dockett. It's on page 4. We have a bond payment that we need to pay Huntington. And I wanted to let the board know that we are going to do an ACH as opposed to a physical check. And I just made the motion so that you would know that. I mean, I don't even know if I have to, but I thought I would be on cautiousness of it and let you guys know.
And are we voting on it?
I made a motion, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Is everyone clear what the motion is now? Okay, roll call, please.
Zelenock,
Yes.
Dockett,
Yes.
Otto,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes.
Beliger,
Yes.
Manley, yes. Chockley,
Yes.
7-0.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve the repair of the rescue truck 8-1 for an amount not to exceed $9,000.
Support.
Motion by Chockley, support by Beliger. Any discussion on this item? Mr. Wagner, did you want to say
No,
anything?
other than to say, the agenda says it's the fire reserve truck and it's the fire rescue truck. It's not a reserve
Okay,
vehicle. It's the truck that runs the most.
okay. Did you have any questions about this item, Mr. Dockett?
No.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Chick,
Yes.
Manley, yes. Chockley,
Yes.
Beliger,
Yes.
Otto,
Yes.
Zelenock,
Yes.
Dockett. Mr. Dockett,
Yes.
okay, 7-0.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
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 Oh,
Okay, so wastewater treatment. I'd like to make a motion to approve the repair of the trickling filter at the plant, which has developed a leak. And approve the award to Titus Welding for the job at a price of $20,650.
I
Support.
support.
Motion by Chalkley, support by Otto. Any questions for Mr., where is he? Mr.
Yes.
Willis for this. Go ahead. Miss Beliger, go ahead.
Titus Welding, have you worked with them before? And the price is quite a bit lower than the others, so they're satisfactory work?
Yeah, we haven't worked with them for quite a while. The other two companies we work with all the time. Our equipment manufacturer, our equipment rep, gave us Titus Welding, and they said they used them quite a bit on their projects. They're a very respectable company, a pretty good sized company.
Okay, I'm just looking to make sure we're confident to get quality work.
Yeah, sometimes in the economy right now, you get somebody that really wants the job, and that's what we're seeing here, I think.
Okay.
Okay, well,
It's
Yeah,
not a
please.
complicated job.
not a complicated job.
No.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Thank you.
I'd just rather make sure that we're not, gonna have to do it twice.
No.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Dan.
Mr. Dockett, do you have any questions for Mr. Willis?
I do not.
Okay, thank you. Okay, seeing no other hands up, roll call vote, please.
Dockett,
Yes.
Zelenock,
Yes.
Beliger,
Yes,
Chalkley,
Yes.
Manley, yes. Otto,
Yes.
Check,
Yes.
7-0.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Willis. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve Chief Wagner to hire Allen's Asphalt to seal, crack seal, and stripe the parking lot at the Public Safety Building for an amount of $6,927.
I support.
Motion by Chalkley, support by Otto. Discussion? Okay, Mr. Dockett, do you have any questions for Mr. Wagner about this item?
No, but
No.
I'm
Okay.
wondering why I'd like to find out or ask a question about why wasn't the entrance coming into the township, why wasn't that replaced? The concrete looks awful.
The only thing I would say is, and I'm not sure which area you are speaking of, is that we kind of split the job in half for this year and next year. We did all the critical stuff this year, all the dangerous trip hazard stuff, that what we believe to be, and then some places that were broken. We definitely will have work to do again next year.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay, thank you. You got plenty of money.
Thank you. Okay, any more questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Check,
Yes.
Manley, yes. Otto,
Yes.
Zelenock,
Yes.
Dockett,
Yes.
Chalkley,
Yes,
Beliger,
yes.
7-0.
thank you. Okay. Ms. Chick?
Yep.
You have your hands up. Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the provisional state and local task force agreement as presented and allow Chief Wagner to sign the agreement.
I'll support.
Okay, motion by Chick, support by Otto. Any discussion on this item? Ms. Otto?
Did we need to have our attorney review this?
Same contract that we've signed year after year, and they have reviewed it. Now, I don't believe Mr. Fink has reviewed it.
Okay.
But I would say that I would, and I'm pretty sure that because he represents Pittsfield, and Pittsfield has a representative on the same task force, that he has probably reviewed it for Pittsfield. But if you want to put in a disclaimer about attorney approval, then I'm fine with that too.
Okay. No? Okay.
That's fine.
All right.
I
great.
have something to say.
Go ahead.
I have something. Did you call on me, Dockett?
I did. Go ahead.
Bill, okay. Bill Wagner is not bragging up the forfeiture money coming in from the DEA officer that Northfield Township sends to Detroit every day to work. the year. He usually is bragging up about how much money they're bringing in, but I don't think they are because he's not mentioning it. Instead, he's saying that they give him a lot of extra police work. Well, that they should give us that anyway. We're all paying for the police work. So I would rather see this officer on the streets of Northfield Township. This is just my opinion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dockett. Okay, we have a motion. Roll call.
Manley, yes. Otto,
Yes.
Chockley,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes.
Beliger,
Yes.
Zelenock,
Yes.
Dockett,
No.
6-1.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay. Ms. Zelenock, would you like to handle this one since you're on this committee? The Land Preservation Committee's request?
Sure.
Go ahead.
So I would make a motion that the Land Preservation Committee get approval to create and operate a Facebook page for the purpose of educating and engaging the public in support of our mission to protect and sustain Northfield Township's unique beauty and rural character for current residents and future generations through the preservation of farmlands, wetlands, and key natural areas. The continued support to our local farmers and education outreach for the entire township.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Zelenock
I'll support.
and support by Ms. Chick. Okay, any discussion on this item?
Yes.
Go ahead,
I
Mr.
have.
Dockett. Go ahead, Mr. Dockett.
I want to know if there's any cost involved, any cost to the township for this, or to the taxpayers.
Ms. Zelenock, are you aware of any costs?
I'm unaware of any costs, so I'd say no cost. It's a Facebook page.
Okay, so there's no cost. Thank you.
That's correct.
Well, I will probably vote for something that's no cost.
Good. I
Okay,
like that.
anybody else? Ms. Chick?
Yep, just a quick suggestion. Looking at the bullet points, I thought it might be a good idea, and this is totally up to the Land Preservation Committee, to like put in some human interest stories about things that are going on in the rural area as well. I think that'll make it a little more of a connection between the rural and downtown area people, and provide more interest besides just putting out facts and educating.
Okay.
This is
Thank
suggestion.
you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, roll call, please.
Chick,
Yes.
Zelenock,
Yes.
Dockett,
Yes.
Otto,
Yes.
Manley, yes. Beliger,
Yes.
Chockley,
Yes,
7-0.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is the Personnel Committee recommendations concerning raises. Miss Otto, well, it was a joint effort to write this memo, but I was hoping we could just take each of the recommendations one at a time. And if there's controversy, too much controversy about any particular one that anyone needs more information, significantly more information, that we set it aside for a future meeting, hopefully in the very near future. But that was my thought anyway. And I guess we can go through them, the recommendations one by one, and see what you're all thinking. Does that make sense to you, Miss Otto and Miss Manley?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. So,
Can we start, Madam Chair? I just have a comment.
okay,
I guess my thought of what was going to be presented to the board was going to be the discussion on the PTO time in particular.
Mhm.
So that was my frame of reference when it was supposed to come back to the board, that we needed to finalize the employee handbook and that was the PTO time within that handbook. So that was my frame of reference. So I just want to let you know that.
Okay.
I
And
have
in
to-
addition,
I have
Go
to
ahead.
agree with Zelenock that that's what I understood us to be studying and talking about was PTO till, as she mentioned, finish up adding that into our employee handbook. All
Right.
this other material was not expected in my mind as well.
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Any,
Can I get this straight? Are we voting on any PTO time tonight? Or are we just voting on wages increase?
we're voting on the we're discussing and then potentially voting on the recommendations of the personnel committee. So it
For raises.
Could be.
could be, possibly. Okay, Ms. Chick has her hand up.
So first off, I think there's a lot of hard work that went into this document, and I really appreciate the Personnel Committee for working on it, and it's excellent and easy to read too, even helpful. My first comment, though, because it's related to the first item, is that this was, we used a Green Oak Township study on personnel, and it's not issue, but I'm wondering, how does the Green Oak personnel positions and job duties mimic the township? And if they don't, how did we decide on a wage based on a Green Oak study if they don't?
Mhm.
I mean, that's a bigger community and a lot more money.
I
Good
didn't
point.
catch that last sentence you added, Ms. Chick.
It's a bigger community. They've got a lot more going for them and more funding, and they have, I know their job descriptions are different than what our people do here.
But I believe they're pretty similar for that particular position, though.
And they have a township manager in Green Oak? I did not know that.
They have deputy supervisor.
Oh, so it's an assistant to the deputy supervisor?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look back at the Green Oak study to pull that off. But this is not the deputy.
No, this is not. Jennifer's position is not.
Right.
So that's my question. How does her position equate to someone in Green Oak?
Okay. So have you all actually seen the Green Oak study?
No.
No, missing that data? Okay. Then perhaps we'll need to get that out ahead of this particular item then, if people are concerned. Ms. Manley?
I have the same concern as Mrs. Chick. And I just want to say thanks to Marlene and Jackie for putting this together. I wasn't very involved in it. So in case I'm asking more questions, that's why. So, and Miss Otto put together this memo and did a great job. So,
Yes.
and I had the same question as Miss Chick, the comparisons, because from what I know of the positions, they're not very comparable, at least for this one.
Were you able to talk to anybody over at Green Oak?
Not personally, but I know people that work there,
Okay.
and she's been there a longer period of time. And I think she has an MCAT certification. So I don't know if the jobs are very the same parameters.
Okay.
And I think we should do more than one study.
Yeah.
I think we should do our own study, which is a recommendation at the end.
Okay.
But not pay somebody to do it, in my opinion.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Zelenock?
So I would just like to add, like everybody else, I think it's an excellent work product. I may not agree with all the recommendations, but I did think it was very well put together, easy to follow. And I do think, thank you for your efforts to give us this work product. Again, I may not agree with all the recommendations in it.
Okay.
Just so I can give everybody an update because I have the study in front of me. The administrative clerk and the assessing assistant, that's MCAT, they are put into the same classification, which is a pay grade 2. There is minimum range, midpoint range, and maximum range that they put them in.
Okay. That's the one that the assistant to the township manager is?
No, this is no, the assistant to the township manager, that one is a pay grade 11,
Okay, is an 11?
which makes, yeah, and they're up in the 90,000s.
Ooh, okay. Well, we're not paying anywhere close to that, so,
I don't think
Right.
it's very comparable.
yeah.
No, that's not even comparable at all. So what we looked at was the administrative clerk for this position.
Okay. So would everyone feel more comfortable if we had some more clarification on the comparability of that salary? So that we could deal with it at a future meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to have something to say about the PTO.
Okay,
We're not there yet.
We're not on the PTO yet. Miss Manley has her hand up.
When you're ready for it, I got.
Okay,
I
I'll
think
call
we
you
should-
first. Miss Manley?
I think we should do something to compare everybody's positions, not just Jennifer's. I
Yeah.
think
I agree.
everybody needs a pay raise, everybody needs a comparison and not single someone out.
I agree. Good point.
I think that's where we need our study.
Right.
Okay, well.
So this is what I would recommend, is we hold off giving her an increase with the rest of the office. And now we don't know what our revenue would be. Our revenue sharing would be. I know that the state is going to be approving the budget at the end for fiscal year 2021 at the end of September. So the only thing that I would recommend is on one, which is part-time salary increases for Jennifer, and 2 raises for the full-time staff or any part-time staff. Just hold off until we know what the revenue sharing will be.
That sounds like a wise idea to me because we do not know, as you say, what the state may provide or
So-
not revenue sharing.
Okay, so you're recommending holding off on any raises whatsoever for anybody?
Right.
Okay, so otherwise, I would be in favor of doing a modest raise for everybody and then getting our salary study to see if we're in the ballpark. But I could be persuaded.
Not at this time.
I mean, to be honest, but if we do give them a raise, we can determine at that time if we go retroactive or we go moving forward. We can determine that.
Agree.
Well, all right. I personally don't have a problem going retroactive just because we couldn't get our budget stuff done, you know. I hate to penalize the staff for that. The fact that this board couldn't get that.
Well, it's not that we couldn't, the state couldn't.
Well, there's a lot of factors. I agree. There's a lot of factors. But, all right. We'll move on from number 1. We will not take any action at this time, and we'll move on to number 2.
I have a comment though on number 1, just to
Go
let
ahead.
people know, and generally on the salaries. In our May 26th budget discussion, we did talk about not filling the front desk person, as well as not giving pay raises, but certainly not doing pay cuts. And this was due to the extent of this was due to the extent and duration of the state revenue sharing cut due to COVID-19. And we said that we would wait until we found out what the impact would be. So I think we did discuss it at budget time, and that's what we decided. And that's why it didn't go into our budget. So that's my opinion.
Okay.
And I wanted to make a correction. I
Okay.
said that her position would be a pay grade 2, it would be a pay grade 3. Looked at the administrative assistant. That's the one that we looked at.
Okay.
Administrative.
Assistant. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we hopefully will be able to take some action in the near future on that. Part-time employee benefits is number 2. And so this is PTO and holiday pay. And Mr. Dockett, well, let's say what was proposed first, and then we'll let Mr. Dockett comment on it. So the proposal was that part-time employees must work 20 hours or more a week to be eligible for participation in the employee benefit participation group. And holiday pay and PTO were based on the percentage work. So if a regular employee got, say, that's 12 days a year, the part-time person would get half of that if they worked half-time. If they worked 75%, like 30 hours a week, they would get 3/4 of that. So that was how that worked. And
12 and a half days.
no, that's the holiday. Holiday pay for a full-time employee is 12 and a half days. And depending on how long you work here for a full-time employee, you get anywhere from 12 to 24 days a year. So we were just suggesting that the PTO would be based on the percentage of full-time that they worked, so either half-time or 3/4 time. And then that the same would be applied to the holiday days. So if someone worked 50% or 20 hours a week, they would get half the pay for holidays. So they would get 6 1/4 days a year for holiday pay. So that was how we were thinking about it. And so the recommendation was to approve a prorated holiday pay and a PTO for part-time employees. So I imagine there's some discussion needed on this one before we actually have a vote. We could take them separately, we could just deal with the PTO time, and then we could just deal with the holiday pay. So
Agree.
Okay. So I will make a motion to accept the policy for accruing PTO time for part-time employees as outlined in the memo, effective July 1st, 2020. Do I have a second on that one?
I'll support.
And I can't, who supported that?
Zelenock.
Zelenock? Okay.
So this is just, as we have been discussing, was that we would give a little extra PTO time than what's in the current handbook.
Correct.
Based on, so as you said, if a full-time employee got 12 days and the individuals was working 50 hours or 20 hours, they would get 6 days.
Right.
Instead of the current policy, which I think is maybe 2 or 3 days. I can't recall.
3. It's 3 unless, I guess, you worked a long time.
Right. So.
Ton has her hand up.
Yes, I see. Go ahead, Ms. Beliger.
I think as part-time employees should not receive holiday pay.
We're not on holiday pay, we're on PTO right now.
Well, item number 2 says PTO and holiday pay.
Well, right now, I only made the motion for PTO right now. We're taking them separately.
Okay, so you want to have some PTO for part-time employees. Okay, I actually did add a sheet regarding PTO.
Yep.
If we do wish to actually accumulate that, I thought it might be easier to do so, to go hourly in the sense that, like, for example, if it takes 20 hours to get 1 hour PTO based on your seniority, whether you work 20 hours in one day or it takes you 20 days to get a total of 20 hours, then you accrue them 1 hour PTO. So I just thought it'd be easier to actually break it down into, because not everybody works exactly half time, exactly 3/4 time and such. So if you based it on hourly rate, when they get X number of hours based on their seniority, then they get an hour PTO time. That was what I tried to verbalize, just to simplify that.
Okay. I know that Mr. Dockett wanted to talk about PTO, so I'm going to call on him next. Mr. Dockett?
Yes, I don't believe there should be any PTO time banked. In other words, every member of the township board knows that there's a lot of paperwork to this PTO time. It costs a lot of money to keep track of it. I believe we should just pay the money out to each individual and let them take care of their own savings account in their own way. I don't believe the taxpayers should or do want the liability of the banked PTO time. That's my feeling on it. So I'm against any PTO time that they're going to bank. They shouldn't get any. Period.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Dockett. That's an item later on. It's number 6 in the list. So we'll take that under advisement at that time. Ms. Otto.
So I did look at, Ton, I did look at your recommendation. I do think because this is manual right now, we got to keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
I do believe that if ever we get a software or our payroll company can do this for us, I think the route that you're recommending is probably the best route to go, is to do it by hour or by time worked. You know, you get so many hours for every time worked. It would be that way for part-time, full-time, be the same across the board. But right now, everything's done manually, so we tried to keep it as simple as possible. I think what I would like to see is that, because I did reach out to Christina today and I didn't get a call back, to see if our payroll company can actually do this for us.
Okay. Ms. Manley?
I know Yvette and Christina have been looking into and talking to different payroll companies. And probably after the election, we'll have something coming forward. Because right now, I mean, Christina really can't, take on learning a whole new payroll system too. So it is something we're definitely looking into, is a new payroll system with a new tracking system.
So she is looking at new payroll systems. I would ask her if that would be part of it, part of their offering.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Beliger? Unmute, Ms. Beliger.
Another comment dovetailing on what Mr. Dockett said. If we decide not to bank up any PTO time and instead pay employees out each paycheck with whatever earned additional equivalent to PTO that they have earned, that would reduce the liability of the township. And it would also, it is a very important factor that we haven't really thought about. And since we're talking about PTO, it's probably good to talk about this now, as Dockett mentioned PTO. If I'm hired at $10 an hour right now and I earn a bunch of PTO hours, but then I get a raise up to $15 an hour, it's just say in a year or two from now, and then I want to get my PTO value, I'm getting it now at $15 per hour, even though perhaps I earned it at $10. So this is a little bit of a...
That's exactly why we shouldn't do it.
It's a little bit
exactly why we shouldn't do it.
I do like the idea of actually paying out all the PTO, keeping the township out from that liability, and then simply every paycheck paying people that PTO. They can invest it as they need or spend it however they wish.
And we're not taking anything away from them. They're getting every penny they earn.
Okay, Mr. Wagner has something he'd like to interject.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because I wasn't involved in any of this. If this is does this include the police and fire department part-time employees, or are they separate, or I guess just a general question, because they're not listed in here.
Right. To me, I would say that it includes the non-union.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, if they're non-union, then yeah.
Okay. because they're just not listed here, so I just don't know.
Yeah,
I wanted to make sure they either,
right.
Oh, are you talking about the capping of the PTO?
Well, I'm just looking at your graph here on page 2, and then just in general.
Because we didn't list their positions.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I have a part-time person in the police department administratively and a part-time person in the fire department administratively.
They would probably be covered then.
Yeah.
So that's 2 additional people, 2 additional employees?
Yeah, we would have to know their salary and include this.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Okay, Ms. Zelenock?
So, Mr. Wagner, that would be, to be qualified for this, you'd have to work at least 20 hours a week. So I just want to, I think Miss Bennett, I think she's working maybe 3 hours a week.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't qualify for this, but I
Right.
believe Miss Hamilton works 20 hours, at least 20 hours a week. So she
Correct.
would qualify for that.
Okay. Correct.
Those are the 2 individuals you're speaking of?
Yes, and then I have a deputy fire chief that's considered part-time that isn't covered as part of the union contract.
Okay.
So and I'm hoping if you saw my report that we can do my review next week or
Right.
before the next meeting.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about that then too. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
So it's
Okay.
3 people?
One thing I want to mention though is PTO is for vacation. So if we're going to pay, I mean, and just to comment with Mr. Dockett and Mr. Beliger's comments, is that if we paid a certain, premium, their PTO out every paycheck,
And they couldn't take
wouldn't
time
have
off.
anything banked for vacation unless we allow people to be off sick without pay and to get vacation without pay. Then it would make sense to give them PTO, if it was a portion of their benefit. But right now, it's the point of PTO is to actually get the employees to take a vacation or take some days off because they actually, it's refreshing for them. They should be taking it off. And to take that away from them is not, to take that encouragement away is not a good idea, in my opinion. So.
Can I comment on that? Because that's a good point. That's a good point. Can we then perhaps banking 2 years worth is maybe excessive?
It is.
Because what you said is valid and that makes sense to be able to encourage and have vacation time, a couple weeks off with pay here or there, whatever, or sick time and so forth. But 2 years banked, that's an awful lot of time and hours. It seems a bit excessive.
Unless you only get a few per year, so if you're accumulating at 2 days a month for PTO, that's pretty good. And so you'd have a lot banked at the end of 2 years. But if you're only getting like 3 days a year or 4 days a year, you can barely take a vacation. And we're hoping in another one of these items to talk about is days off in between the holidays, Christmas and New Year's. So, and
But if you're
encouraging
only
people to
working-
take their
If you're only
PTO.
obtaining 3 a year, it means you're probably working only a couple days a week.
Right.
So you would only need a couple days to take off.
Miss Carlisle works 4 days a week, and she gets, maybe she's up to 4.
Yeah, but you look at these people's records, and all they do is rack up the PTO time and for 2 years. So they're not taking their vacation. That's BS. They're not taking a vacation. They're building up a big paycheck. That's what they're doing.
Right. And we should be.
So don't say it's giving them incentive to take off. It gives them incentive to gang up 2 or 3 or 4 months worth of pay.
Okay, Ms. Chick.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think most companies or businesses or whatever, you get 1 year PTO and you either use it or you lose it. And that encourages them to take that vacation, because if we want to encourage them to, it's more productive, you feel better, you come back refreshed, then they should be doing it. The people that don't take it are typically not taking it so that they know at the end of whatever 1 year or 2 years.
I wouldn't say that.
I do. Okay. There are people here that don't take vacations, but that's because they don't have enough help. So we need to look at
That's right.
aspect of it as well. But so then you hire somebody, but I don't think it should be used as banking. People do bank their PTO.
So I do think that we need all the question here, because we have moved on to other
Plenty
agenda
more.
items on here, and we are still on
Number 2.
So can
Okay.
you please read the, just brief over it one more time, please? the
Okay.
motion?
So I made the motion, and Ms. Zelenock seconded to accept the policy for accruing PTO for part-time employees as outlined in this memo effective July 1st, 2020. So they would get whatever their full-time equivalent is, 50%, 75%, based on how many years they've been here. So they would get half of what the full-time equivalent person gets. I hope everyone figures that is okay with that. Ms. Zelenock.
So just for further clarification is, we are going to use the same years of service that we do for full-time, except we're going to apply the amount of time they work. So like for the hire date, so right now, if you are from your hire date for 2 years, you would get 12 days off. For 2 years to 4 years, a full-time person would get 15 days off. 4 years to 9 years, they would get 18 days. And then from 9 years and above, they get, looks like 24 days.
Right.
So we would use that same scale, but we would prorate it to the hours that the part-time individual is working.
exactly.
Okay. Just to have clarification on that. And currently what we have in the policy is that if you are a part-timer and you work between 20 hours and 29 hours, you would get 3 days, and 30 hours to 32 hours, you would get 4 days. So I think what it's trying to recognize too is the service that a part-timer may have invested in our township, as well as we have invested in them. So we are taking into consideration their service, amount of service years they have with us.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Department heads get 30 days.
Okay.
Yep.
They do.
So it's more than 24.
Well, they're
They
on a
get 30.
we
Yeah,
don't
but
have
this
any
is,
part-time
you're
department.
correct, Mr. Dockett. This is non-department heads. You are correct.
Yeah.
Thank you for that clarification.
Okay. Let's have a roll call vote on this, please.
Zelenock,
Yes.
Check,
Yes.
Dockett,
No.
Otto,
Yes.
Manley, yes, Beliger,
Yes,
Chockley,
Yes.
6-1.
Thank you. That passes. Okay, now the other part of that same argument is holiday days. So they would get the same based on holidays. So I'd like to make a motion to accept this policy for payment of holiday pay for part-time employees as outlined in this memo. Ms. Beliger. Do I get a second first? I need a second.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay.
Or Janet.
Okay, chocolate chick. Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Beliger.
I will not approve giving holiday pay to part-time employees. I believe that's part of a benefit package that should apply to full-time employees.
Okay. Mr. Dockett, did you have anything to say about this?
No, I don't think that they should get any PTO pay.
Okay. Do we have any more comments on this? Okay,
Oh, wait. So
Oh.
full-time gets 12 days
12 and a half.
and
Full-time-
part-time would get 12 and a half?
If they work 20 hours a week, they would get 6 1/4.
Okay.
Yeah. And then if they worked 3/4 time, they would get 9, ish. So, Miss Otto,
Have we thought, I'm just going to put a wrench in this, have we thought that if a person is working and the holiday falls on a day that they normally don't work, receive holiday pay?
we haven't talked about that.
I just thought it would be worth talking about.
Okay.
Or do you want to just keep it clean across the board?
Yes.
I thought it'd be best clean, but, you know, most holidays are Mondays.
It's a little messy when you
Yeah.
start putting things like that in there.
It does. Okay. I saw Miss Manley's hand first, but
Yeah, I was thinking along the same track as Jackie at first too. But again, like you said, it gets messy, or I'm gonna make sure I work on Mondays because that's what every holiday falls on. So,
okay.
and if you have a schedule where you work as needed. So, yeah, I think that gets too messy.
Okay. Miss Zelenock, you had your hand up.
So 2-1 is I don't think personally part-timers should get the holiday pay. They do get their time and their part-timer. They do, I think, choose to be part-time employees, and that's part of the understanding to me when you come to work. I worked part-time, and I can only speak from my personal experience at Ford for a period of time. And if that day was my day scheduled and it happened to be a holiday, I did not get paid for that. You know, so if it was my time off then, and I was only going to work, I think at the time I was working 50%, then that was just the way it went. I didn't get that plus an addition for that day. So,
Right.
I think
and
it
that's
gets
what I was talking about.
yeah, you know, it's just, and so it gets a little more complicated, but in general, I don't think part-time employees should get the holiday pay because they know that coming in. And that's part of being part-time, because they already get some time off that the other employees don't get off, and they get other benefits. So that's just my opinion.
Okay. Miss Chick?
Yeah, where I used to work before I retired, we tried that where we didn't pay people if the holiday fell on a weekend, and it just got to be too complicated. So we pay whether it's on whatever day of the week the holiday's on, they get paid for it. I think it's just easier and cleaner, and you don't have to be calculating and checking who's where, what on what day. So,
Okay, thank you. Miss Beliger?
Another comment too I'd like to add is, you know, this really isn't our money. This is taxpayers' money. And I really don't think it's good to find ways to spend it, I mean, in this kind of manner. Like I say, part-time employees, I think it's going to be a nice benefit to actually give them PTO time, and we've upped that as we have. But for benefits and holiday pay and benefits and so forth, I think that's just not appropriate. You know, if we actually ran a business, we have to think about that, you know. Just because it's easy to spend general fund money, it doesn't mean we should find ways to do so. And that's, you know, that's part of just another factor that we kind of have to keep in our minds.
Okay. Mr. Dockett, do you have any last minute comments on this one?
No.
Okay.
I have one more. Can I, at some point, I'd like to see how much it's actually going to cost the township.
I would like to see a listing, but
Yeah.
we do actually have some numbers here on page 2 on what the holiday pays would cost for each of the positions. So, so it is on page 2 in the chart.
Oh, it's annual. Okay.
Yeah, annual. Yeah. So my biggest concern is turnover and quality. I'd like to keep quality people here. It is expensive when we have turnover, and it's disruptive when we have turnover. And I don't think we're overpaying our employees. And I think a small item like this goes a long ways to keeping quality employees. So I will be voting yes. Okay, anything else?
Yes, I agree. But nobody ever quits the taking pretty damn good care of our people. So I don't think we get much for turnover. Maybe you do, but I'd like to have some names. Who's left recently that we don't have a turnover except the part-time person on the front desk.
We lost two code enforcement people. We lost our controller since I've been supervisor, and we've lost the front desk, multiple front desk positions. So
they were part-time.
Deputy treasurer and the clerks while I've been on here too.
yeah. So
Well, the code enforcement officers didn't leave because of the benefits, so.
Right.
would they have stayed? I don't know.
No,
No, I don't think so.
They left.
Considering the reasons they left, I don't think so.
No. Yeah, okay. So
I don't think those are good examples.
Okay.
We bettered ourselves both times.
Yeah.
True.
Okay. Let's have a roll call on this item and get moving. Okay.
Dockett,
No.
Zelenock,
No.
Check,
Yes.
Otto,
Yes.
Manley, yes. Beliger,
No.
Shockley,
Yes.
so 4-3.
All three, that passes. Okay, thank you. Okay, now the next item is 3, and so we had talked about raises, but there has been some concern that we don't really know what our state revenue sharing is going to be yet, and that perhaps we should put this off to another meeting. Is that the feeling of the board at this time?
Yes.
When
Yes.
are we gonna know?
Okay.
When do we know? When do we get the figures?
I don't know. Hopefully we'll get them soon.
Okay, I would like to make a comment on that section, though, that I think that what is presented there as like annual increase and that it 1 to 3%, depending on performance, that it is you don't automatically get an increase just because you get a review. So I like that. It has to be.
Yeah, that's not how we've done it over the several
Right.
years, but I believe we do need to be moving in that direction. So Ms. Otto had some suggestions later about that, and
They're getting a good pay rate, then the increase is based on merit then.
right.
Right.
Okay, so we will skip number 3. Oh, we've got Mr. Willis with his hand up. Mr. Willis.
I'd like just to remind you that we aren't involved in the revenue sharing at all. And we always get grouped in with the township office.
Okay.
And the police department, they're separate than us, but we always get grouped with the township office.
Mhm.
And we are not involved with their income or the township's income. Just so the
Okay.
board is aware of that.
Okay. That's a good comment, Mr. Willis.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah. Well, then, that will be like a separate decision then. But you're right, Mr. Willis. We should take that into consideration here.
Could I speak on the revenue sharing?
Go ahead, Mr. Aynes.
This afternoon, I listened in on the most recent briefing by the Department of Treasury for Michigan, and it sounds like that by the time the state budget is adopted, which has to be done by September 30th for the coming year, that we would be getting numbers. So perhaps the first or second week board meeting in October, we would have definitive information on that.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Yeah, I was going to say they cannot go into October 1st without an approved budget.
Okay. So perhaps we can bring back a solid recommendation for this at a future meeting then. I saw Ms. Zelenock's hand. Go ahead.
So as far as the pay raises, what I find if you do it truly based on merit is that they all our positions have different responsibility and different jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that becomes difficult to say who did what more than who else did when they're not doing the same kind of job responsibilities. And that's my, again, I can only speak from one point of reference. And when we did raises at Ford, it was, merit-based sort of. We had like one person that got like maybe 0.5% more than the bottom person. And again, the difficulty was then you have to force rank them. And that becomes difficult too. So if you have a pot of 4% and you give the top performer 5%, that means someone else is getting, 3% or lower and lower. And again, I think it becomes difficult because everyone has like a different boss, which is pretty much okay, but everybody does a different job. It's not like we're, accountants or we're engineers. We're all kind of different.
Right.
I think that adds some complexity to trying to figure out who was the top performer.
Well, I don't think I don't think you have to look at it overall, everybody's position compared to the other person's position. You've got department heads, we've got a clerk's office, a treasurer's office. And I think that the recommendation for any kind of a performance increase would come from the department head.
Mm-hmm.
That should be.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I recommend we move that one on until we get some more data back from our, on state revenue sharing, and move on to comp time for township office staff. Well, Beliger has a hot item here.
Well, I was going to make the motion to offer for the comp time issue, unless there's another question.
I had one for the other one. So before we move on.
Oh, yes, go ahead. What?
So did we, for the wastewater treatment plant, do we want to hold off when we do everybody else's?
Do we want to hold them off for everybody else's? Do we know what we want to give them? The Personnel Committee had recommended 5%. And if they're just doing it straight across the board, we could do, we could do theirs now. So, I don't know. Ms. Manley?
I say we hold off and get a recommendation from Dan. I mean, is it really fair for us to give their raises when we?
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
I would say wait.
And I would like to have Dan's input on it.
Agreed.
Okay. So, all right, so we are going to hold off on number 3 until at our next meeting, or the one when we can deal with it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to move that we accept the office staff will not be offered comp time in lieu of overtime. Overtime will be paid at time and a half hours worked over 40 hours as outlined herein, effective July 1st, 2020.
I'll support.
Okay, so we got Beliger and made the motion, and Manley supported it. Okay,
I think Chick, I don't know who did.
Chick,
Somebody-
we have discussion now. Oh, Chick supported it. Okay. And we've got discussion. Miss Otto.
Okay, so I wanted to give everybody a little bit of an update on this. I did talk to Stacy, our labor attorney. Comp time and PTO time are two different things. So they're different because they come under different state statutes. So PTO is a benefit. Comp time comes under overtime state statute under the labor law. So she said that the comp time can be capped like PTO if we ever wanted to do that. But it is a use it or pay it situation. Cannot do a use it or lose it for comp time. You have to use it or pay it because this is in lieu of overtime. They're getting comp time. So in this situation, I did talk to Mary, and because this is the one that's affected. In order for us to do comp time for the township office, it would have had to been given to everybody in the office. We cannot we just can't give it to one person over another. It would have been offered to everybody. So I did talk to Mary. Mary said that she would prefer getting paid. because she can't always take her time, her comp time. She doesn't have always the time to take it.
Okay. Good to know.
So I wanted everybody to know that I did talk to her. So she appreciated that we were considering this.
Okay. Ms. Zelenock, I saw your hand. Oh, well, let me go to Mr. Dockett so I don't forget him. Mr. Dockett, do you have anything to say about this?
No.
Okay. Ms. Zelenock, I saw your hand up.
So the only thing I have on comp time, and I'm trying to find it in the employee handbook again, is that I think there's a difference between non-exempt and exempt employees.
Yes,
I
there is.
think non-exempt employees have the option of an hour, 1.5 hour rate in either wages or time off pursuant to the section 207, I think C or 0 of the Fair Labor Standards Act. So I don't know if we can blanket and just say everybody has to take the comp time, because I think according to the Fair Labor Standards, they get the option. That's my only comment.
Do we have any non-exempt employees?
Well, according to the definition of non-exempt, exempt are paid on a set salary basis regardless of the number of hours worked.
Okay.
Non-exempts are paid on an hourly rate.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say we have more non-exempt employees than we do exempt employees.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we just need to
So
check.
exempt employees do not get comp time because they're salaried.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Okay. And that's
Well,
what
I'm
she
not-
did say.
Yeah,
But she
so I'm
said
not,
that you can offer one or the other. But what I was trying to say is you have to offer it to everybody. You can't,
sure.
we were just offering it to Mary Bird and
No.
we can't do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, I think we'd have to ask Dan Willis what that does to his department. And again, I thought non-exempt has the option of either according to the Fair Labor Standards.
It does.
Oh, okay. All right. So they get the option, right?
They took the option under the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah, our guys,
Mr. Willis is
Yeah.
back on. Go ahead, Mr. Willis.
our guys take the option either they accumulate a sum of it and they don't go past 150 hours.
Right.
If they go over 150 hours, they get paid for it. That's
Okay.
how we work it. And then they can take it as comp time or get paid when they want to.
I'm not sure we need to change our current policy. I think we just need to let people know that they have the option to get paid. It's kind of what I think, because because non-exempt in the the Fair Labor Law Standards, I'm not sure you can say you must get paid.
Well, I think for Mary, and I agree with you, Lenore, maybe it doesn't need to be a motion here. Maybe Mary just needs to understand that she can get paid overtime.
Correct.
Wasn't this
Instead of
reviewed with the
taking
labor
comp time.
attorney?
Huh?
Wasn't this work reviewed with the labor attorney?
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with the intended motion then?
No.
Well, it could be that some of the people in the office do want comp time
Right.
and we have to offer them. I think in Mary's case, she wasn't offered overtime.
Right.
Okay. She was told she had to take comp time.
Oh. Okay.
So again, I really don't think we need to do anything here personally, but
Or we need to review it a little more.
Right.
I
Can
think,
I withdraw the motion?
Yeah.
I can withdraw the motion,
okay.
Just review it further.
pending further review.
Wait, let's just get a little more clarification.
Well, that's what I got from our attorney is that she said that she could continue with her comp time
Right.
and get paid time and a half, but you also have to offer it to every hourly employee.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, all right,
You can't single Mary out.
right.
Only Mary can have this, or single the wastewater treatment plant out and say only they get it.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, this was going to apply to all, right?
Yep.
It was going to apply to all.
Does this mess up the wastewater treatment plant?
It
the way-
would probably mess up the wastewater treatment plant.
That's my concern.
Well,
We won't
I-
accept it, but I would like to do it to at least let Mary know that she can get paid overtime.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you want to cut it off as of a certain date, as banked already, she can get all that paid if she can banked.
mhm.
Right.
Okay, Mr. Willis?
What are you saying this is going to affect us? What are you saying?
Nothing.
It's not going to affect us at all, right?
It-
Either
If we
way,
made
right?
If we made a motion, it would affect you. We're talking about not making the,
How would the motion affect us?
because
they
you
would
have
have-
hourly employees.
We are hourly employees except for me.
Yeah,
Right. So,
Oh,
Miss-
they have the option now of comp time or overtime. And that's what you're saying, aren't you?
No, what we were saying that the office staff can't take comp time, so it would affect them.
Oh, that you would have to get paid for.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we're
Right.
trying to say, let's just take it off and let Mary know that she can get paid out for the time she has in now.
okay.
okay.
Mr. Willis, you like that, right? You like that idea. Is that correct? You like
Yeah,
keeping
the-
it the same,
Yeah, you can have it comp time or overtime pay.
and
Either
it's
way.
up to 150 hours. And
Correct.
I was just kind of looking as I got home today, was grabbing our old manual or our manual and just looking
Yeah,
at it.
it's been that way a long time.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Just
Okay, well,
wanted to,
I'll remove that motion, so I pull that motion.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we're going to move on to the next item. Office closing for winter holiday. I'd like to make a motion to move that the township office will be closed for winter holiday for December 28th, 29th, and December 30th.
What if it falls on the weekend?
Well, these are the days in between,
This is for this year only.
Then it should say 2020.
2020.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll add 2020. Okay.
I'll support if
Um,
some, yeah.
Can I make a friendly amendment,
Yeah, but who supported me first?
Janet?
Okay, go ahead.
The friendly amendment is that the staff will use PTO, unused PTO or unpaid time off.
Okay,
These are not paid days.
yeah. Okay. All right, so I accept the friendly amendment that staff will take unused PTO or unpaid time off. Okay, and we have Miss Beliger wanting to make a comment.
Yeah, is there employees that need to be in the office over this time frame? And the other point is, will this interfere with our ability to serve the community, to serve the public?
Okay, Miss Zelenock, you have an answer to that, right?
Yes, so the Treasury Department has to be in on either one day between December 25th, which we usually don't take that day, through December 31st. We need to be in the office one of those days up until 5 o'clock.
Okay,
So that, just to answer your question, Ms. Bellinger.
okay,
Thank you, thanks.
all right. Any more, Mr. Dockett, do you have any comments on this?
I know, but I need an explanation on what we're voting on.
Oh, okay. The motion was to close the township offices between Christmas and New Year's for a winter holiday. So the office would actually be closed and no employees would be in here except for someone to represent the treasurer's office for one day. That's not part of the motion, but, you know,
Right.
Ms. Nollar knows that.
What's what's the days they're closed?
December 28th, 29th, and December 30th.
Yeah, okay, 28th, 29th, and 30th.
Right.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Right.
Why are we doing that? When Christmas is on Thursday. Or Thursday, Friday, Saturday is not enough, and Sunday, 4 days is not enough. Therefore, we're going to have 7 days. I'm not for that, no.
Okay. Ms. Chick?
Yeah, so that's my concern as well. That's a long time for the office to be closed. People are off during that time as well, and that would be a perfect time for them to do whatever business with the township that they have to do. It would be nice just to have one person in there if they wanted to do shifts 1 day a week, so that at least it's covered if somebody wants to. I don't know if it's normally a busy time for the office anyway, the end of December, but it bothers me when we shut down the office and we can't service the public.
Okay. Mr. Aynes, are you aware of how busy it is during that time?
I think it's primarily if there's tax payments due. That seems to be the most activity we have.
Yeah.
I know last year we were open on the 26th because of having it open to everybody, but also to start accepting applications for the marijuana licenses. But we didn't get any of those till the 23rd of January.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't see anybody that day for that reason. Usually it's not a busy time for building permits. You know, in the winter we usually don't have a lot of that.
Right. Mr. Wagner, I saw you on, did you have some comments to make on that?
Yeah, I just was curious if this applied to the police department too. I think I'd prefer to leave the police department open because we do get, that's an opportunity when people are on vacation to get matters taken care of, so.
Okay.
I mean, would it be a hardship to have at least one person there 1 day of those weeks and they could alternate the staff? Or what we used to do when the office was closed was be able to at least forward phone calls that somebody could pick them up.
Oh, okay. Ms. Manley?
It seems like all we're doing is figuring out how to close up the office.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like that's all we're doing here. Every time, every meeting we have, how to close down an office. I don't get it, folks. We're supposed to be taking care of the people of Northfield Township.
Okay.
You just want to close the office.
Yeah, my thought went along with Ms. Chick. You know, if they can answer their voicemails or emails at home in case anything does come up, I would think that the staff would do that just like they've done through COVID. If it's something important, something dire, employee or Mr. Aynes or, you know, the manager would step up and do what somebody needed. And I also think that through COVID, again, people have learned alternate means of making their tax payments, of making their utility payments.
Mm-hmm.
I would mention that if you are going to be open, what I've done in the past is tried to let as many of the staff off as possible.
Right.
And then I've come in those days to back them up.
Okay. Ms. Zelenock?
So I tend to agree with Mr. Dockett and Ms. Beliger is, you know, we're a service organization. And when you come work for the township, you know we're a service organization and that our job is to service people. And I think during this period of time, people could be looking, you know, they might have it off as well and want to get some business done. And certainly taxes, people do try to get their taxes in. Yes, we do have the 24/7 Dropbox. They could do that, but some people want to get the receipt. Some people like to do it the old-fashioned way.
Okay. Ms. Manley, does Ypsi Township close between Christmas and New Year's?
Yes, we close, and Pittsfield Township, I'm pretty sure, closes also.
Okay, so it's not unusual for that to happen.
No, and
Well, what caliber is Ypsi Township? What kind of a township are they?
Are they a
Are they a
charter?
general?
Charter
They're
township.
chartered.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, that's not us.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, why are we comparing ourselves to a charter township? Well, maybe you ought to start trying to do it with Webster or somebody that's the same type of township we are. I don't want to hear about what they do over there on a charter township. Thank you.
Okay. It does
I
give.
mean, as a comparison, it's not fair to compare us to somebody like that.
Okay, it does give the staff an opportunity to use up PTO days also that they may have wanted to use before they lose them. So since we don't allow the carryover of PTO days for part-timers, at least not currently, it would give them an opportunity. So anyway, I don't think it should be a hardship for the office to be closed those days. Anyway, are we ready to vote? Everybody okay? All right, we'll find out, yes or no. All right, roll call, please.
Zelenock,
No.
Dockett,
No,
Check. Check.
No.
Otto,
No.
Beliger,
No.
Manley, yes. Chockley,
Yes,
so 5-2.
5-2, that fails. Okay, well, I would hope that our manager can allow people to be off if they, you know, make those arrangements. You know, I know some people want to go on a vacation or visit family, you know, in another part of the country, and, you know, it takes a while to get there.
No, I think that's a better option, and then the people that want to work can, and the people that don't want to don't have to, so.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, moving on.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, please.
I was just looking at Webster Township. They're open from 8 to 4 Monday through Thursday, so they're closed on Friday, so they're not really comparable. So maybe we should look into places that are comparable. And I agree with Mr. Dockett.
well, I think they're closer than you are with where you work.
Right.
But you're saying that they only have the office open 4 days a week.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
it's hard to find comparables.
Yeah. Okay, the next one is the PTO carryover determination. And
So Marlene, I'd like to make a recommendation that we separate these two motions.
okay,
One is capping it and one is paying out.
okay. Well, my understanding is that in the handbook right now, it's capped at 2 years, and so it's kind of odd that we see.
We already do that. Okay.
I mean, Ms. Zelenock said that to me. That's my assumption. Mr. Aynes, can you confirm what it says in the employee handbook right now?
And no, I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, I could probably pull it up on my computer, but then I can't see anybody.
Oh, let me
No,
see if I
same
can.
with me.
Okay,
I can try to find it. Just a moment.
So we're talking about the PTO accumulation.
Yeah.
right,
Employees may accumulate up to 2 year times the amount of their annual PTO accrual. However, any PTO time earned over this amount must be used or it will be lost.
Oh, we have it. Use it or lose it.
Yeah.
Yep, these excess days are subtracted from the accrued amount effective June 30th of each year.
okay.
So the problem that we have is we have some people that have over 2 years accrual that may lose it.
Come out.
We need to pay those off and then
Yeah.
cap it at 2 years.
Well, but they shouldn't have accrued over that, and we shouldn't have been tracking it over that
Right.
in the first place.
Well, maybe maybe what is over 2 years is not legitimate then, not valid.
Right. it shouldn't have been a surprise to them.
I would really encourage us to get this instead of manual. That we have some type of software or
Yeah.
payroll company do this for us.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to really encourage it.
I will support that 100%.
I can tell you, if I was an employee and because of one employee has that much accrual over 2 years, that's a lot of money that that person lost. And Steve, I'm gonna be saying this to you. You should have encouraged Tammy to take the time off. I do understand that we don't have somebody to replace her, but we needed to encourage her to take the time off.
I can do that certainly, but you should realize most of that's been accrued before I even got here.
Yeah.
It's the same with Mary with the comp time. When I arrived, it was being done in a certain way, and that's the way it continued. And then I would point out, like with mine, I'm 27 hours over, but I had planned to take the last week of June off, and then we ended up with the whole mix-up with the office closed and so on, so I didn't think I could take it at that time.
Well, should we actually move to pay out this, and then anything above 2 years is then lost, as the handbook specifies?
Well, but so as of the end of June 30th of our last fiscal year, this is how many hours people had accrued over their 2 year. I guess I'd be very careful, because actually you could have 2 years and then you've got like 6 months that you could probably continue to accrue, and then you lose it at June 30th.
Well, it should be paid out. Anything after 2 years, I guess, should be paid out on top of their paycheck. Well, actually, it's supposed to be lost. That's the thing that the book that Zelenock just now read is you lose anything above 2 years.
Yep.
What I had recommended previously with that language was that if you went over a certain amount that you designated, whether it was 1 year or 2 year, that it would be paid out quarterly. So if you got to the point where people had it, you weren't telling Christina that this check they have to modify this person's payroll, and next check somebody else's payroll. You could do it on a quarterly basis. And as long as the employees all understand it, that's one thing. But particularly with Tammy, I'm sure she wasn't given that instruction when she came to keep her hours down.
So now, with Mary Bird, is that just PTO for Mary Bird? And else?
That's just the PTO.
Okay.
The comp time was separate, and I was going to bring that up at a later point to you.
Okay. So
Not
do we,
tonight, but
yeah, sorry, Mr. Aynes. Do we allow somebody to walk in and, at 6 months, and they say they've accumulated 6 months worth of PTO, and they come in and they need a little extra cash, and they don't, they say, can you pay me out my PTO for the last 6 months? And then they're not taking their PTO. Do we allow that?
No. We shouldn't.
No.
We should
You
not.
can't get it paid out.
No.
You'd have to take it.
You have to
Okay.
take it.
Mr. Wagner popped in.
Yeah, just so you know, the police union contract allows payout portions periodically of comp time if requested.
Oh, but comp time's different than
Right.
PTO though.
I'm trying to
Sometime
remember.
you have to pay out.
I'm just trying to remember if we do the same thing for PTO. I don't think PTO we do, but
Yeah.
we do it.
And the PTO here is for non-union.
Right. Yeah, I get that. I'm just letting you know that we do it.
Yeah. Okay, so they have to take it or they lose it. They don't get paid it. It doesn't ever get paid out. They just have to take it. Okay.
It's paid out. I mean, it gets paid out when they leave.
Well, it does when they get paid, when they leave.
Yeah,
You're
because
correct
that's, you know,
there.
it says at termination, when the, sorry. Yes, when we terminate or they terminate their employment, regular full-time employees will receive full compensation for accrued PTO days. Compensation will be made at the employee's current pay rate, as Mr. Dockett had
Yeah.
reiterated to
It's
us.
just-
So.
But that doesn't mean that, say, I'm just gonna say if Tammy leaves tomorrow, that we're paying her out for 300 hours, because this 300 hours is over the 2 years.
Correct. If she left tomorrow, my guess is we wouldn't pay her that over
Right.
that rate.
Right. Miss Manley had her hand up.
Yeah, I think we really need an HR person or somebody to take control of HR, because the 7 members of the board trying to figure this out
Totally agree.
seems kind of silly.
Yeah.
Totally.
Where is
The
the
manager was
thing?
supposed to be in charge of HR. And it's just sounds like nobody really knows which direction we're going in. So I don't think it'd be fair for the employees to lose anything because there was a misunderstanding or was explained incorrectly.
Well, where is our labor attorney on this? I thought that she was consulted.
She's not our HR person though. I mean, we need somebody in the
She's
office.
not our
to be in charge
HR.
of HR.
So the only thing that she told me, and this was a question that Lenore asked me. So she told me that PTO has to be the same for all employees. You can't single out one department head over other employees. So what we were talking about is department heads would be treated differently than hourly employees. You can't. Everybody's treated the same way unless it's a negotiated in the contract, in the union contract, if that's different. But she said for normal non-unions, it has to be the same. If we are paying out for hourly full-time employees, we have to do the same for salary.
Okay.
One aspect you could do is right now you don't let anybody sell any time out. My sons both work with Kroger's. They get so many weeks vacation. The Kroger's allows them to sell back up to a certain number of weeks, which is equivalent to selling back PTO time. If you wanted to allow that as an option, that might be something some of the employees would be very grateful for.
Yeah,
and it
but
wouldn't hit
Steve,
you all at once.
the problem here is that we have 4 people that have over 2 years accrued, and they're losing it. And we have one that's losing a lot.
Well, who kept counting anything over 2 years? I guess that's maybe was the mistake, is counting anything over 2 years.
Right. Right. I think we're not going to get this figured out tonight, this particular one.
Well, I think that there's bad news that's going to have to be said.
I think
Yeah.
you got a point.
There
Because if
are
it's in
some
the
employees that
manual-
are going to lose all this.
If it's in the manual as that, then these numbers are just they're not real because they never were
Right.
supposed to be there. If the manual is clear and and that's the current manual that says you lose anything after 2 years, then these numbers don't mean anything.
Then they've lost it.
Yeah.
Well, they never had it in the first place. That's the point.
Right.
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 I can tell you when the company I work for, they changed the policy about 2-3 years ago. And when they changed the policy, we could bank anything, we could bank as much over PTO that we have going over. There were people that have worked there 25 years, 30 years. And trust me, they have banked PTO time. And when they realized how big the banks were and everything, they just finally said, you're only carrying over 10 days. And there was a lot of people that lost a lot of PTO.
Okay. Ms. Zelenock.
But yeah, I Miss Otto and I did speak about that. I thought well, maybe the department heads didn't tell the employees about the manual
Right.
prospectively, or I'm getting tired actually, so that maybe we could pay the employees, but the department heads, part of me says they're the one that should be distributing the information. And if they didn't, then, and not to mention department heads obviously earn more time than the other employees. So I don't know. I really struggle with this. It just that, it's a tough one, but the manual is pretty specific that it's up to 2 years.
I think
I don't know what
we got the manual too.
I'm not sure what Steve and Mr. Aynes and Mr. Wagner were doing. I know he has 3, but
Check with
still,
State Belial and see what liability we have if these people believe they have all this time and we might not pay them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was
And
a
the other-
question I didn't ask.
Okay.
And the other thought is too, is it possible that maybe they just sign an affidavit that, if they need to use the time, but that if they did terminate their employment, or their employment was terminated, that we would not be liable to have to pay this additional time, that we would only pay the 2 years.
Yeah.
So if they did, like Miss Bird or Miss Wilson had the opportunity, certainly Miss Wilson, maybe after this election, to be able to go on vacation for a month. She might need it, like all of us, that maybe she could use it. But if she were to terminate her employment, then we wouldn't pay it. So I think that might be potentially a compromise, that, yeah, you can do it, but you have to use it now.
Yeah.
But if you were to leave the company or the township, then we would not pay you anything over than what was in the manual, which was 2 years.
Yeah. I see Miss Manley's hand up before Miss Chick, so.
And Mr. Willis has
I
also
agree
got his
with
hand up.
Mr. Willis.
I agree with what Zelenock says also. And then, we've been talking about this manual for almost 4 years, and we just realized this. It kind of looks
Right.
bad on us too. So,
Well,
Yeah.
no.
Okay. Ms. Chick real quick, then Mr. Willis.
To Ms. Zelenock actually hit on a good suggestion, and I recall that we did this where I used to work as well, that people used to have to sign a form saying that they read the handbook and they understood it. And then if there was any changes in the meantime, another form went out and said, this is what's changed. I read it and I understand it.
That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
And we may have that. I don't know. Mr. Willis.
Yeah, what time frame are we going to base this on? Is this like June 30th of every year? Do you have to have
It
less
should.
than 2 years, or is it a
Yeah,
quarter?
it should be within the budget period.
It's just a budget period, so
Yeah.
like by June 30th, they have to have under 2 years or they lose it.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
like in the middle of the year, they could have extra weeks in the middle of the year, but by June 30th, they would have to be down to 2 years. Okay.
It's a good
Just want
point.
to clarify that.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Dockett, did you have anything?
No,
Okay. Okay, board, what's your pleasure on this one? Hold off till we can get more?
Yeah, hold off.
Hold off.
So what are we holding off to do?
We're not making a motion. We already know what the policy is, that it's capped at 2 years. So we need to see what the ramifications are and come back with something.
So what I
So
would
if we're
recommend, Marlene,
Yeah.
is that if you reach out to Stacy
Yeah.
and explain this to her, what happened.
Okay.
Right.
All
And
right.
then ask her for her recommendation.
Yeah, 'cause these numbers should not have been allowed to add up like this.
Yeah.
That's where the problem is in these numbers. It's not in the handbook because it was clear in the handbook.
Yep.
So I do have one item too, Madam Chair. I think that's a great suggestion, Ms. Otto. I think we initially were going to not allow accumulation up to 2 years. And we have been waiting, I think, over almost 2 years to see these numbers.
Okay.
Because we wanted to know what the liability would be if we actually were only going to allow people to accumulate 1 year And I think that would have been, our payout would have been like 50,000, 46,000.
Mhm.
So that was one reason why we hadn't made a decision on the PTO time, is we wanted to know what the liability was.
Yeah. I remember right after getting in office wondering how big in the hole we were. So, all right, let's move
So
on.
can I ask one more thing? So if we did not finalize the PTO in the handbook, what was the original language in the handbook?
Okay, we'll get all of that for the next
Yes.
opportunity to talk
That's what
about
we would need to know, because
Yeah.
as far as we know, the employees don't know the new language. They probably still know the old language.
Mhm. Okay. All right, next item is bereavement and jury duty. And I will make a motion to accept the policy for providing bereavement and jury duty pay for part-time employees as outlined herein, effective July 1st, 2020, but, well, it's the same as we did for the PTO and the holiday pay, so.
Support.
Motion by Chalkley, support by Beliger. Do we have discussion on this one, Ms. Zelenock?
So actually on this one, I think we should pay in full bereavement and jury duty. I better slow down. So let's say you work 20 hours a week and you were called to a trial and you were gone for that entire week. I actually think we should pay that person for that entire week, and that we shouldn't prorate it, and basically, we should pay them the hours they work.
That's
would it
really
work?
what it says. That's what it says, though.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not,
no,
it's,
we have it at half of that.
No, it said for jury duty, full-time employees may be
Okay.
jury leave for the length of absence. The same will be for part-time employees. So if they work 20 hours and they were gone that 20 hours, they get it.
okay, thank you. I read it that, I guess I was thinking that on the bereavement though, of part-time person, right now, basically employees get 3 days, that we would base it on the number of hours you work. And I'm thinking if you lose a beloved and you needed to be gone 3 days, I would pay you again your full pay for that time period and not prorate it.
Okay.
Okay. I think we've all lost people, and it's kind of interesting when the company says, well, you get 3 days off, or maybe 5. And then you're like, wait a minute, I want the world to stop a little bit here. So I just think we should pay them their time off that they would have normally received.
Okay.
That's just
Ms.
my
Chick?
comments.
So on the bereavement, we're talking 3 days of regular pay, correct?
Well, that wasn't the motion, but that could be we can amend.
We can amend it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the jury, we've had employees that were out for 3 weeks for a jury trial. So are we going to put a limit on how long? And so do they have to take, that's a long time to get in there. Yeah.
Well, don't we have to pay when someone's off for jury duty?
We do for.
No, they only get $15 or something.
$15, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you do not have to pay them. We know you don't.
Yeah.
That would be a benefit.
Yeah. I don't know how everyone feels about that.
There are some employers that feel that because I've had an employer that did this, if you got paid $15 a day by the court, they want that $15 in lieu of them paying you. It was really stupid.
Yeah.
Take more money to collect it.
I know it does. But where I work at now, they just pay you.
Okay.
Right.
Do we want to separate this to bereavement, separate from jury duty?
I think I agree with that, Ms. Beliger. I think that might be clearer.
Okay. I'll withdraw my motion and allow Ms. Beliger to state one. Go ahead, Ms. Beliger.
I move to accept this policy for providing bereavement pay for part-time employees as outlined herein, effective July 1st, 2020.
You're up to 3 days?
Up to 3 days.
Up to 3 days.
Okay.
I'll support.
Okay, we have a motion by Beliger, support by Chick. Mr. Dockett, you didn't get a chance to say anything about this.
Yeah, I would like to have that stipulated that they can't volunteer for jury duty.
Okay, we're talking about, right now, we're talking about bereavement days.
Excuse me?
We're talking about bereavement right now. So.
I didn't understand you talking about.
The motion was by Ms. Beliger and support by Ms. Chick to accept the policy providing bereavement pay for part-time employees effective July 1st, 2020 for up to 3 days of bereavement.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about jury duty. I'm sorry.
Hang on, that's next, okay? So, all right, let's have a roll call, please.
Manley, yes. Beliger,
Yes.
Zelenock,
Yes.
Dockett,
Yes.
Pick,
Yes.
Otto,
Yes.
Shockley.
Yes,
I think that's everybody 7-0.
yes, that's great. Okay, so I'll make a motion to provide jury duty pay for part-time employees as outlined herein effective July 1st, 2020. Yeah, 2020.
I'll support.
Okay. And this is for the length of absence, depending on, whatever it could be, I suppose. So motion by Chalkley, support by Otto. Any discussion on this one? Mr. Dockett, did you have something you wanted to say about?
Oh, I said that they can't volunteer for jury duty.
I don't doubt anybody volunteers.
Well, they certainly do.
You get called, it's a lottery, and you go.
Yeah,
or
it's a
you get in
lottery.
trouble. Yeah.
No, yes, but you can volunteer there's people out there that volunteer for it all the time. Okay, I'm a no vote on this one anyway.
Oh, okay. We have any more discussion on this one? Okay, roll call, please.
Beliger,
Yes.
Zelenock,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes.
Manley, yes. Dockett,
No.
Shockley,
Yes,
Otto.
Yes.
So 6-1.
thank you. Okay.
I haven't been called for jury in about 6-7 years now.
Oh, wow.
You will now.
Yeah. Okay, so the next item is the work from home option. And the Personnel Committee recommends that the Township Office staff can work from home upon the approval of the Township Manager or the Township Board. And I would like to state right now that because of the executive orders from the governor, they are encouraging people to continue to work from home as potentially able, but again, that would still be up to the manager, I guess, or the board. So I will make a motion to accept this policy for employees to work from home upon approval of the Township Board or the Township Manager as outlined herein effective July 1st, 2020.
Support.
Motion by Chalkley, support by Chick. Discussion.
I have a discussion.
Go ahead, Ms. Chick.
Do all of our employees have the ability to work from home, and are they able to do everything they need to do that they could do in the office?
That was my concern.
Yeah,
Because if
I
they're
could answer.
go ahead, Mr. Aynes.
The only one that we have set up to work permanently from home, and I've had in effect for about 2 years now, has been the controller. And I still have her working from home because I've had no reason I've had to have her physically here. But the rest of the people interact with one another on their jobs, and they serve to back up each other with the reception desk. And so that would be much harder for us to work out.
Right.
Could be done probably. Nobody has approached me saying they wanted to have that ability other than the controller.
Right. I would think just by the nature of most of their jobs that it would be really hard to be able to do that. So thank you.
Yep. So, so you wouldn't give permission to just anybody to work at home?
No, because there's times where you wouldn't have proper coverage for the desk, and then you would end up having to close, which I know you don't want to do.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I guess my other question is, do they have the soft or the programs like Mary? She's using all different kinds of utilities to do her job. Does she have that ability to log in and use anything available to her that she has in the office?
I think there are limitations on that. When this all hit and we closed the offices, I had the IT guy extend hookups to 6 of the staff people that were not hooked up before. So I believe Jennifer and I and Mary, I think Christina and Emily had the ability to work from home on certain things, but you know, we had to have payroll done here. We had to have sewer bills done here. Jennifer had to be here to pay the bills. So those
checks.
were the, I'm sorry, and write
I said we had to
checks.
come in to sign the checks.
Yes. Those of you that sign them, yes. Or your staff people.
Right.
So I was overseeing my people, which is the controller and Mary and Jennifer. And the other key people were coming in are under the treasurer and the clerk, and they could have accessed me if they needed help, but I didn't get access for that.
Okay. I see Miss Beliger's hand up.
Yeah, I would like to encourage the office to be open and people working together in the office and getting back to a normal life. That's kind of what I'd like to see. And I don't think that, I think this also opens up possibility for more issues with security and so forth. So I would like to see the office be open and people working together and so forth. So I will not be, I can't encourage more people working from home, I guess, per se.
Okay. Ms. Otto.
I agree with Ton in regards to security. We do not have, unless our township has a VPN or a 2-factor authentication in order to get in, we are opening ourselves up for people to get hacked while they're at home. I work from home. I'm on a VPN, which is a secured network. So I don't, so nobody can hack my computers or anything. Well, they probably can, but they have to go through several firewalls in order to get there. So I do have a concern too about there are some employees that will never be able to work from home based on their position. So example, Dan's department, you can't say somebody in his department can work from home because they can't do what they need to do by working from home.
Okay. Ms. Zelenock, you had your hand up.
I personally don't think this motion is needed. People need to resume their work schedules to provide the service that needs to be done for the township and the residents. So
yeah,
I think carry on.
I agree with you.
I have my phone. I have my hand up.
Go ahead, Mr. Dockett.
Okay. If we ever are going to have to, I mean, I differ with I don't think we gave the best for possible service that we could have done when we were closed. And I've said it before, and I'm saying it now, if it ever happens again, is with all the technology we have, these people should, if they're working from home, they should be able to answer the phone, because you can say what you like. I call there. Dozens of people came in my store, told me they called there. You just got on the merry-go-round down there, and it just went from one to another to another. It didn't work. The people, if they're going to work from home ever again, in a situation like this, we need to have it ready to have them have a phone, in my opinion. The other thing I'd like to say is, why is Jennifer paying the bills? Now, we have a clerk, and the clerk had one helper, and when she came on, then she hired another person, and now they just said that Jennifer has to come to pay the bills. Well, Jennifer doesn't work for the clerk, so I'd like to have an explanation from the clerk. Why is Jennifer paying the bills for the township?
Basically, that's the way it was set up when you went to the manager system. We would love to restructure the office, and it's been talked about, but it's also, well, the clerk, we do sewer bills.
But it's your statutory duty.
Yeah.
I agree, but that's the way that it was set up.
Something is not right here. You know, it's your statutory duty. That's what you're supposed to do. So I would hope that. I mean, I'm amazed that I did not know Jennifer paid the bills. But
Yeah, it's been like that ever since you went to the manager system. That's the way the jobs were restructured.
Well, I don't care about the manager system. It's not the manager's job, in my opinion. It's your job.
Ms. Chick had her hand up.
Yeah, no, I agree with Mr. Dockett. And the other issue is that if the assistant to the manager is paying the bills, then that her portion of time should be coming out of the clerk's office.
Well, it sure should be, but well, no, she has to work for the clerk because she has to be assigned to the clerk's job. That's one of her. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
I don't think that needs a big adjustment. You just shift it over.
If we're looking to restructure the whole system, then that's going to be a lot larger conversation.
Yeah.
And what's going to come out of Christina in order that she has time to take the bills. So it's a lot bigger conversation than we're just going to start paying the bills.
Yeah.
Or maybe hiring a part-time person to do it.
Right. Or
Well, you already
my suggestion.
You already have 3 in your department.
That was Jackie's suggestion, not mine, Mr. Dockett.
Miss Otto, you had your hand up after Miss Chick. But.
No, I was going to say the same thing as Janet is that it, if Jennifer's splitting her time up between doing clerk duties and that, then she should be allocated over there.
Yeah.
And if I recall, I think that it was done, there could be people cross learning their positions and everything. I never thought that it would just stick with Jennifer. I thought Jennifer was learning positions, so in the event that somebody was gone, it could still continue. Never thinking that would end up to land to be her job.
I guess we'd have to go back and look at the job descriptions.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, but that's a future conversation.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I think it's important. I think we ought to get it on the next agenda. I think it's really
Our next
important.
agendas are very full. Okay, the next.
So do I have to make a motion or what?
We'll never, okay, you don't want to come to a special meeting, Mr. Dockett. If you want a special meeting, we can put it on an agenda, but we don't have a lot.
Don't.
Okay.
Ass now.
No.
Don't. I think I brought up something that's important.
It's important. It doesn't mean.
I think they need to be taken care of.
Okay,
Mr. Dockett, who do you want to assign in the office to restructure everybody's positions? Would that be a manager's duty? For him to restructure this in the next 2 weeks?
Well, I don't know, but I mean, if you're the clerk and your statutory duty is paying the bills, it should be in your department. You should be doing it.
If the board wants the clerk's office to just do their statutory duties, that would be great. But then who's going to do the other duties?
In other words, I think you're trying to say that the clerk's department is doing some work that typically the clerk's department does not do. Is that what you're trying to say?
Our office is not structured like a typical township. Different jobs are given to different people, and that's the way it was created when they went to the manager system. So if we want to start restructuring positions, that'd be great, but it's not something that's going to be done in 2 weeks. And who's going to do this?
Okay. So
A lot bigger issue than here, come write some checks.
exactly. All right, let's get back to the work from home option. I'm going to withdraw this motion if that's okay with Ms. Chick.
Yes.
Okay. So if anybody wants to bring it up, they'll have to make another motion.
I want to bring up a motion, Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
I would like to make a motion that the township follows its COVID-19 plan as provided by the township manager and approved by the board on June 23rd, 2020, and terminates the motion made by the board on March 17th, 2020, related to COVID. If you'd like me to read you the motion that was made on March 17th, I can certainly do that.
Yes, please.
I'll
Do
support
I
so
get?
we can hear it.
Okay, Beliger moved, Zelenock support second to affirm the emergency closing policy in the employee handbook, providing the paying of staff while needed as directed by the state emergency. So I think that motion needs to be terminated. And one thing I've learned is that I don't think we should tie our motions to another entity. The motions should be tied to our own determination.
Okay, so break this down for me. I'm having a hard time. So we're eliminating the March whatever
March
decision.
17th, 2020 motion. Yes, correct.
Okay, but then what did that motion make us do?
I believe it'll had that people could, basically what you had indicated in your motion, that we could allow people to work from home and we'd still pay them.
Okay,
And I think that needs to end, meaning the offices are now opened. We need to service our public. And if we can't service our public, then we need to find a different alternative. Basically, we need to follow our own policy now that we have one in place.
okay,
That's my intent.
okay. That makes sense.
At the time we didn't have one, we didn't know, the world was changing rapidly. Now that we have our own COVID policy, I think we need to follow that in
All right,
regards to
now
our
the motion is
employees.
to cancel the old one.
Rescind
Yes.
the last motion.
Okay,
I don't know if you can rescind it. I mean, because we did pay the people while they were working at home, but Ms. Chick, if rescind would be
okay.
applicable, I think so. But that's why I just say terminate.
terminate.
That would be proper
End
with
it.
Robert Rules of Orders.
Hmm.
What was that, Ms. Chick?
I think it would be proper with Robert's Rules of Orders and as
To
far as
re-
language to rescind.
Okay. Okay, then I'll use that. Instead of terminate, I'll just say rescind the motion made on March 17th, 2020. Thank you.
Okay. So we have a motion by Zelenock and support by Beliger. Okay. Any more discussion on that, Mr. Dockett?
No.
Okay. Everybody all set to vote? Okay, roll call, please.
Shockley,
Yes.
Otto,
Yes.
Dockett,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes,
Manley, yes, Bellinger,
Yes,
Zelenock,
Yes,
7-0.
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, and the last thing we're not voting on, but this was a recommendation. Ms. Otto, would you like to mention this? Because I know you have talked to them.
Yeah, so we provided this as, we provided information from this individual that did the work for Green Oak. We're not making any motion here. I just wanted people to my intent for this was to give you guys information on what could possibly be done and determine, do we want to do this ourselves? Do we want to hire somebody? It could be costly. We could scale this down if we wanted to, but I just wanted to provide the information so everybody has an understanding of how much it could cost us.
Okay. Thank you. I saw $10,000 approximately in the information you got from that company.
Mm-hmm.
And, considering the ability that they have and the inability that we have to do the same kind of quality work, we don't have that much staff is the thing. And I think it would be a good thing for the township to actually get a real salary study so that we could be competitive. And, maybe we are overpaying. I don't know. But I don't think it would hurt for the future board. I think in the end, we would get our money's worth. And we'd stop arguing meeting after, and talking to this attorney and that attorney about, I think it would settle a lot of things. So that's my opinion on it. And we're not having a vote tonight, but, just saying.
No, and I agree. I think if our goal is to become more professional, then we should be professional.
Yeah.
And I do want to thank Mrs. Otto again and the personnel committee. It was really well done and great conversation.
Yep. Yeah, I thought she did a great job writing it all up. Okay, moving on to the next item, resolution to amend the boundaries of the Summer Homes Park. So, in lieu of somebody jumping up and saying something.
What item number are you on?
We are on number 10 now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I will move to pass resolution 2629, allocating the 9 parcels listed in the resolution as future park area and authorizing the township manager, township attorney, and township assessor to take all actions necessary to incorporate the parcels into the future park area. And this is the one that's in back of the public safety building. We already own the parcels. We just need to make sure that they're within the, incorporated within the boundaries.
I'll support.
Okay, motion by Chalkley, support by Chick. Do we have a
Question?
discussion? Ms. Beliger?
Yeah, how many, are there homes in and amongst these parcels? Residential homes in and amongst these parcels?
No.
No,
Okay.
they're just there,
They're
Like on the-
parcels that you can't even build on.
right?
There's no roads to them.
Okay, Mr. Dockett, did you have discussion on this item?
My phone is beeping, and I'm afraid I'm going to lose you pretty quick here. But
Okay.
I think you said we're on 10 about the lots in Whitmore Lake Summer Home Sub.
Yes.
Yes, I'm in favor of that. Yes.
Okay, so if there's no more discussion, let's have a roll call, please.
Dockett,
Yes.
Zelenock,
Yes.
Check,
Yes.
Otto,
Yes.
Chalkley,
Yes.
Manley, yes. Beliger,
Yes.
7-0.
Okay, thank you. That passes. The next is the ethics policy, and we had virtually approved it at our last meeting, and I don't know if their last meeting, but the last time we saw it, and it was sent to the attorney just to have him review it and make sure it was all good. And there were a few minor changes made to it, but you'll see the final version here. And let's see, Miss Otto and Miss Manley worked on this ethics policy. Would you like to make the motion on this? Ms. Otto?
I'll make the motion to approve the Northfield Township ethics policies with the changes that Mr. Fink provided to us.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll support.
Okay, Ms. Chick. Okay, any discussion?
Great job.
Thank you, Ms. Zelenock, go ahead. Ms.
I
Zelenock,
just do
please.
have one question, and I don't see,
Yeah.
I don't see Mr. Fink on the, I think he's the one that reviewed it. Is that correct?
He did.
And I don't see him online. The only question I had was, I believe Ms. Beliger, when we were gathering some contributions for Ms. Carlisle for her work on the play path, he said that would not have been allowed if the ethic policy was approved. And I was wondering what area
I see something on
that
page
would
3,
have
perhaps.
been an issue in. I'll approve it, and maybe if need be, we could readdress that, because I found that interesting that that was his comment. So I just wanted to bring that up. That, you know, I thought it was a nice gesture, obviously on the township board, but the comment was, had the ethics policy been approved, then that would not have been allowed. So I'll follow up with him if that's okay.
Okay,
But I'll approve it as
So
is.
Lenore, what was it specific he was saying would not be allowed?
Probably
I-
page 3.
I could
Now,
address
Mr.
that.
okay,
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Aynes.
go ahead.
What he was referring to was that some people put in money to give to her as a thank you for all the work she did on the play path. And under this policy, you've got a limitation on how much money an employee can take or what value of a gift.
Okay.
And so that's where it would have applied. That's what he was talking about.
Okay.
I would say he would have been willing to attend the meeting, but the way I left it with him was, if you had a question, I could call him, and he could come online at that point if you want him to.
Maybe you could just follow up with him to see which one it would have done. Because it just says, you know, I don't know which one he's talking about. In excess of 50, enter in with a vendor and also does business with the township. I don't know. So anyway, I just want to let people know that, but because we hadn't approved it, we were all good.
Okay, okay, thank you. All right.
So Mr. Aynes, will you follow up with him and just identify which piece that might have been an issue?
Yes, I just made a note of it.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Okay, let's see. Did I ask Mr. Dockett if he has any comments on the ethics policy? Mr. Dockett?
What's that?
Do you have any comments on the ethics policy?
No, but it's not binding. There's no punishment there. So I guess it's not going to hurt anybody. Thank you.
It's not going to help anybody either, I guess. I don't know. Hopefully people will behave themselves after reading the ethics policy. That's all.
Did we already have a policy like this in place for the last few years?
No.
I mean,
I don't know. We do have some things written into bylaws, you know, which hopefully aren't ignored.
which would have been nice if they were followed.
Oh, yes. So anyway, all right. The motion has been made. Are we ready to vote? Okay, roll call, please.
Okay, we're ready to vote, but I would like it. I would like my comment in there that there's nothing in here to force anybody to do anything.
Okay. That's a good comment. Add that, Ms. Lembo.
Okay.
I'd like to have it in the minutes.
Yes, I just mentioned. Ms. Lembo will make sure it's in there, I hope. Attendees. She's still listening.
Mr. Dockett, what's your vote?
Mr. Dockett, roll call.
Vote.
Oh, yes.
Zelenock,
Yes.
Beliger,
No,
Manley, yes. Check,
Yes.
Otto,
Yes.
Shockley,
Yes. Okay, thank you. That passes.
6-1.
6-1. Okay. All right. We're on to trustee liaison reports. I'll make a motion to accept the trustee liaison reports as distributed. I guess. Miss Otto's got her hand up.
Support.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
support, but I have a comment.
Okay.
For the ZBA, we did not meet for the month of August. I have asked Jennifer that for those meetings that we do not meet, please just put did not meet.
Okay.
It just seems like it would be a waste of paper for me to say we did not meet and publish it.
Okay. Ms. Chick, I see your hand.
Yeah.
Are we on the liaison reports?
Yes, we are, and people are having.
Okay. Did we have the supervisor, or I didn't hear?
No, right now, we're just allowing people to add their report if it's not here yet, the people with the pluses.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Ms. Chick had her hand up.
Yeah. We met on Wednesday, September 2nd, so it was a little late to get the report into the, before the agenda was ready. So September 2nd, we had 3 public hearings for cannabis businesses. One was Pure Roots at 9876 Main Street, and we also heard their site plan as well. We also heard RTMC Enterprises at 50 East North Territorial Road and their site plan as well. And then Michigan Pure Green at 52 Barker along with their site plan. All of the new public hearings that we heard and the previous 3 that we had heard will all be forwarded to the board for their recommendation for denial, approval, or approval. And then the site plans will only be heard again at the Planning Commission for those businesses that are awarded a license if they are awarded.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And Parks and Rec, Ms. Beliger.
Yeah, we had a meeting on August 20th. I mentioned already about the what we had called a resolution, but the motion about the 12-acre park, I read that earlier. Update to the application for the zoning compliance form to locate the shed more in the middle of the position of the park. That has been done and approved. The master plan subcommittee began work and just doing initial working as far as just updating things that we can easily do and looking things over. So that's met once, and we're going to meet again on the 16th. And the next Parks and Rec meeting is the 17th at 7, and they've been virtual. So they'd have to get the information from the township website as to how to join. But 7 p.m. on the 17th is the next planned Parks and Rec meeting.
Okay, thank you. Any other liaison reports to be added at this point?
I'd like to make a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
Any of these people that I don't have the report in front, if they made a report, would they put it in my mailbox? Or if they didn't make one, then that's okay. But I can't get much out of my phone with these oral reports. I can't read, see what's happening. So if they have them in writing, I'd like to have them in my box.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so any other liaison reports needed to be pulled out for comment? Okay, I'm just going to mention from my report that the community center priority project is moving along. Tomorrow we will have opening of bids for the parking lot. So we expect at least 3 bidders to do the parking lot, which is great. And we have preliminary bids from 3 companies for the flooring for inside, and I'm just making sure that they're all going to be apples to apples when we get the final bids for the flooring. And I'm really excited about this flooring. I can't tell you how excited I am. So this is going to be a great project when it gets completed, and I hope it's done before I leave office. But I'm hopeful, and that's moving along. And then
Marlene.
Yes.
In regards to that, is there any extra costs? I mean, will the grant cover all the costs for the flooring and for the parking lot?
My concern is that we're going to go over it. However, it appears that the cost of the flooring is going to be considerably less than we thought when we put that price in for the grant. So then more of it will be able to go to the parking lot and the lighting. So I'm hoping that most, if not all of it's going to be covered, but we won't have any idea until we get the bids open tomorrow for the parking lot, since that's the big money item. And so, yeah, I'm a little nervous about it, I have to say, because, who knows? But tomorrow we'll have a better idea of how we're doing with that.
Oh, the flooring's going to go throughout the entire building, right? Isn't that what we asked for in the grant?
The flooring is going in where all the vinyl that's coming up currently is, like in the main room, the kitchen, the stairway, the front vestibule, and then the area in front of the bathrooms and the bathrooms.
Okay.
So, but we're also looking at, because we got a suggestion from one of the vendors, to have what's called a walk-off tile in the vestibule and then the area that's right in front of the bathrooms. And so when people come in the wintertime, it actually cleans off their shoes and gets the water off. It's actually an enhancement. It's a safety feature, so there's not slippage, and it's very easy to clean. Since we're going to replace that area anyway, there would be an additional cost to that, but it would eliminate the cost of the rugs and cleaning the rugs, and it will look very nice and clean in there. So that's an option that we're going to look at. But right now we've got like 4 different kinds of tile that we're considering, and a lot of different stuff. So I'll be looking forward to showing you all and getting your opinion on what they look like. And Tammy has her opinion, and everybody has their opinion, but we'll see. I'm really hopeful it's going to be bright and clean, and maybe we can get some volunteers to paint the inside.
Call the question. Well, I think you explained it. Let's move on, please.
Okay. And my last thing for the public out there who are trying to teach their kids at home and may not have decent internet, we have internet Wi-Fi, back to school Wi-Fi available at both fire stations now. So if you need to download something that you don't have capacity at home for or anything, you can park in the parking lot and use your computer, your phone, or whatever, log in. So I'm excited about that. Thank you very much. All right. Call the question, I guess. Go ahead, Miss Manley.
Beliger.
Yes.
Manley, yes. Chalkley.
Yes.
Otto.
Yes.
Check.
Yes.
Zelenock.
Yes.
Dockett.
I don't know what we're voting on.
The liaison reports.
As for all the rest of them, that's everything?
Yes.
Everything, yep.
Okay. That ends the meeting? Okay.
No, we have a second call for public and announcements.
7-0.
I mean, there's no more liaison.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, I'll vote yes on that.
Okay, thank you. All right, the next item is announcements. Does anybody there have any announcements? Anybody? Okay, I'm going to announce that we had thought we were going to have a special meeting on September 15th.
Oh my God.
To do marijuana stuff, okay? Marijuana licenses. We are not, because Mr. Dockett didn't want to come. So anyway, no. So we're not going to have a special meeting on September 15th. We will have the marijuana licenses on the 22nd. Okay, just clearing that up. Okay, anybody else with an announcement? Seeing nobody. Moving on, second call to the public. So now we have an opportunity for the public to address the board. Please keep it to 3 minutes or less. State your name and your address, and feel free to tell us whatever's on your mind. So, attendees, please raise your hand, and I'll allow you to speak. Have anybody? To put your hand up, oh, there we go, Mr. Olney. I'm going to let you talk, Mr. Olney. Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Adam Olney, 9315 Lakewood Court. I just want to remind everyone out there watching or watching at a later time of the Meet the Candidates event that's going to be happening. The one for the trustees is on Tuesday, September 15th from 7 to 9. And the other one for the candidates for supervisor, clerk, and treasurer is Thursday, September 24th from 7 to 9. These are being moderated by Marta Larson, and Zoom is being provided by Living Water Church. So it's a little difficult for some people to get out and attend meetings, and also a little difficult for people to get out and do traditional campaigning. So I think this is a good way for people to be able to hear from the candidates themselves. Besides that, I'm just curious on why all meetings aren't being recorded and put out to the public. Any township meeting, whether it's DDA, ZBA, Parks and Rec, if they're a Zoom meeting, it should just go out with all the other meeting information. I shouldn't have to like go search through or try and find a code or a link to go to the Parks and Rec. I shouldn't have to contact Jennifer to be part of the Parks and Rec meeting. It should just be all part of the normal information that's sent out with a link, and they should all be recorded and put on the site, just like these ones. There's been some discussion of what happened in a meeting or what didn't happen in a meeting. There's no reason for that. We have the technology's there. So, and it's fairly easy to do. You literally just record. You guys already send out the information for the other meetings, put all the other meetings in there too with the links. So other than that, thank you for your time. Have a good night.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else who would like to speak with us at this point? To raise your hand, you push *9 if you're on the phone, or on the computer, you just raise your hand. Okay, seeing no one else, board member comments. Anyone like to share anything right now? Board members. Mr. Dockett, we'll start with you.
I have nothing.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dockett. Anybody else? Ms. Chick.
I just wanted to comment on the People's Express report. I thought it's great that they're actually picking up business, and they're doing a wonderful job for the township. And I also wanted to thank Adam for bringing up the Meet the Candidate nights coming up. It's a good opportunity for people to see the people that are running. So have a great night.
Thank you. Ms. Zelenock?
Yeah, for the September 22nd meeting, it would be, I think, really, considering the topic, it would be nice if we could meet as a board. I think it might be beneficial.
Meet as a board?
You know, have,
upstairs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess
anyway, that's my comment. I'd like to also thank Mr. Oli for mentioning the candidates night. Thank you. So, but yeah, it would be nice, I think, considering, again, the topic, all the detail that we'll probably need to go through. But anyway.
Okay. Anybody else?
Well, I would like to say I'd like to have board meetings at the township also. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Beliger?
Yeah. With how much trouble we've had with virtual meetings, it would be nice to have regular board meetings. I am a little bit concerned with how much problems that we can't anticipate now that we will likely have if we attempt a combination real meeting / virtual meeting. That's my only thought on that. But not that this is working wonderfully by any stretch, but obviously most ideal is a real meeting with everybody being able to attend, but that seems to be yet a problem. So I can see that would be that this idea of a quasi-real meeting with virtual components, I think opens up more potential problems than what we've already been experiencing. But I would just love to have a regular meeting. That's, you know, and I would love to see that happen where the public can fully participate. And of course, the board, you know, be a regular board meeting. And I do want to also just mention my heartfelt feelings for the Westover family with what they're struggling with right now. It's a terrible, tremendous loss, and I feel for them. Be praying for the family.
Yeah,
Thank you, and wish everybody a wonderful week.
thank you. Anybody else? Miss Otto, Miss Manley? No? Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, whoever's out there on their computers or by phone. And stay safe and have a great couple of weeks, and we'll see you again on the 22nd. Thank you so much, board.
Thank you.
Thank you.